Welcome, everybody, to round number 10 of the 2020 Ride365.com Nationals live here on Starter Systems. My name, of course, is Kellen Brauer, set to bring you guys the action here tonight from Ironman. It's the penultimate round of the championship, and boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about in this 250 division. So I'm not going to waste any time. Let's go ahead and jump in, first of all, and talk about these qualifying times. These guys had a limited amount of time this week to actually put in qualifying, as the track was only released very late last evening. So not too many people probably were even awake when the track was released, so they just basically had today to get those qualifying times in, and Payson Johnson at the top with a 148.4, Seth Garrett, Colby Eaglin, Trevor Burns, and Alex Kerr inside of the top five. Championship rivals like Braden Carter, Tyler Lang looking a little bit further down the order, Lang in P10, but obviously we'll look down here to see maybe if there's a consolation race tonight. It looks like we may end up having one, probably going to be a short little one though, with about 8 or so riders in it. Everybody 37 on back, of course, will be heading to the consolation race to try to race their way into the action here tonight. But this is the big storyline right here. This is the championship standings after 9 of 11 rounds in this championship. There are just 12 points separating the top 4 in the championship. A 2-point lead for Payson Johnson, the first time he's had the red plate in 2 rounds. Got it back over Tyler Lang, but it's only a 2-point gap, and then only a 10-point gap back to Colby Eaglin, and a 12-point gap back to Braden Carter. Just 12 points separate our top 4 in this championship. It is going to be absolutely insane down the stretch here to try to keep track of where everything is with this championship scenario, because it could be bust wide open tonight, or it could even get closer if guys like Carter and Eaglin can put together 2 strong motos and maybe come out of here with the win. So huge storyline here, championship-wise tonight, but of course, that's why we dropped the gate. One of these guys could win, one of these guys couldn't win, and we're going to find out right now live here on Starter System. So glad that you could join us for the action here tonight. Sorry that the stream was not actually up, and you guys probably didn't see that for like a quick second or something like that. That was more or less just my fault. I had left it on private by accident. I swear I hit it so that it was public and you guys could see it and wait for it here. But obviously I didn't. So put that live, and now we're live here. So hopefully you guys are all joining okay. We got a lot of people already hanging out in chat, it looks like. So good to see everybody. Hopefully you guys are all doing great wherever you are this evening. And we are set to bring you guys the action here from Ironman. Wow. Can't believe that we only have 2 rounds left in this series. Obviously, we just wrapped up the Grand Prix series on Monday. 12 rounds of that now gone as well. But we're at the 10th round here. The final round will be ran next week, and we will be crowning champions, maybe even crowning a 450 champion tonight if things go swimmingly. And pretty unlikely we crown a 250 champion. It's got to be a pretty much most unlikely night ever for Payson Johnson to clinch the title here. He would obviously need to go 1-1 with Lang and Eaglin and Carter pretty much not scoring points. Lang cannot score points. Eaglin would have to score like less than, I think, 5 or 6 points or something like that. And then Carter less than 8 points or something. So, yeah, this is going to be pretty tough for Johnson to wrap up a title early, but we are going to have a fabulous run down the stretch here with these final 2 rounds. The final 4 motos are going to be tense. And I can't remember the last time that we came this deep into the season with 4 riders still alive in the championship hunt. I know we've definitely taken 3 riders down to the final few rounds before. And obviously we usually end up having 2 riders still alive for a title once we get to those final rounds. But this very well could be all 4 of these guys with a realistic shot at winning this championship when we go racing next week. But a lot of that rides in the balance here tonight, with just 12 points separating Payson Johnson in the lead and 4th place Braden Carter. Oh, man. Well, what I always like doing with you guys in chat, everybody that's here so far, is I like pitching it to you guys here while we're sitting here waiting to get loaded into the server and everything. Who have you got? We got Payson Johnson with the lead. 2 points back of him is Tyler Lang. 10 points back of Payson Johnson is Colby Eaglin, and 12 points back of him is Braden Carter. We got 4 motos to run. Who you picking, folks? Which of those 4 gentlemen is walking out of here with a championship in 1 week's time? Definitely going to be a huge storyline to follow here all night long, and, of course, all of next week. What are you guys thinking? Who are you picking? Who are you cheering for? Maybe you're buddies with one of those gentlemen, so obviously you'd probably be cheering for him. But on a simply statistical analysis so far, it's definitely been a roller coaster of a season. Payson Johnson, arguably one of the fastest riders on a 250 in the game right now, but he still is making what I would call rookie mistakes. This is his first true full rookie season of racing the Pro Race Factor Gaming competition. He's still a triple-digit rider. Won the opening round, led the points for the first 6 rounds, coughed it up back at Redbud, if you guys remember a few weeks back. Tyler Lang was able to take it over. He led the points until last week when then he coughed it up. Payson Johnson didn't even win the overall that day. That went to Braden Carter, who clawed back the most points, obviously. But Johnson had good rides at Budds Creek and was able to pull that gap back in his favor. So this is going to be interesting. And it looks like we are not going to have a consolation race. They're going to have 41 riders lining up here, which is cool to see. We're going to have someone on the back row, and we don't have to wait at all to get into the storylines here for this class tonight, folks. Oh, man, Payson Johnson with the red plates. And many of these other guys are looking to just end the season strong and maybe win a race themselves. So it's not even just that our Championship 4 is going to be the clear and away favorites here tonight. Obviously, guys like Seth Garrett going second fastest in qualifying clearly has some speed here on the Ironman Raceway. Could he become a factor, or could it be some other surprise that we haven't seen up front all year long? That would be truly a special way to wrap up this championship if we have a couple first-time winners play spoiler in this championship hunt. So as we get loaded in, hopefully we get loaded in time and I don't get timed out again. Looks like we made it. Oh, we are off and running into the first corner. Who's it going to be? I got to switch to the cameras. And a bunch of riders going down, but it looks like it was the 26, or no, it's the 243 of Hunter Braun on the Nova GFX. Gets the whole shot. Kyler Hockey's right behind him. Devin Ryan, Tyler Bartlett, just a bunch of people mixed in. I see Johnson's up there, Hockey going down. Eagland is on the 24. He's going to jump into second place as, oh man, Lang and Johnson side by side over the roller almost got collected. So Braun leads us to the top of the hill. He almost cases the jump and goes down though, so Eagland funnels in right behind him in second. And we are off and running 30 minutes plus 2 laps. This is going to be one of those races that you have to pace yourself a little bit, not get too far ahead of yourself. Track is demanding. The ruts this week are deep. The track is only going to get ruttier and bumpier as the race goes on. It looks like Carter on the 32 was getting sideways back there. He was already up in the 3 spot. He's gone back to the 5 spot behind Johnson. But all of our guys are up here. Lang is in second, and then 4, 5, 6 are the other 3 riders in the championship as Hunter Braun continues to lead the race here. Dropping in and out of this back section, then carrying speed into these rollers. Eagland already trying to apply that early pressure onto him as they head under the bridge, and Eagland pulls up alongside of him, actually. This could be a run down to the inside. Eagland's trying to go to the race lead here before the end of the first lap, laying the scrubs down. And to the inside, can he get it to hold down the inside? He can. Colby Eagland takes over the lead before we're done with 1 lap here at Ironman. And that's going to be a bonus for him because he's got 2 riders still splitting, himself and his teammate, points leader Payson Johnson, as he leads them through lap 1 in the books. Eagland from Braun. Zoe crosses up in 3rd. Then Carter has just made the pass on Payson Johnson to move up into 4th. So he and Johnson continue their fight. And I believe Lang is still right behind him. Yes, he is on that MV Films Honda coming down the hill in 6th. So frantic action early. And our championship 4 inside of the top 6. Hunter Braun and Zoe Cross trying to play spoiler as Cross moves up into 2nd. Is going to be a big bonus, though, like I said, early in this race, though, for Eagland to have a bit of a buffer and not have the championship guys right on his tail. Cross, no slouch. He's going to keep him honest, but now Hunter Braun coming under attack already from Braden Carter. Payson Johnson right behind him, and Lang is going to seek an opportunity as fast as he can as well. These guys are trying to go to the front as quickly as possible. Carter swings to the middle rut, then turns into the same rut that Braun goes to the inside here. Johnson swings to the outside, tries to get a better drive. Might scrub this jump a little bit harder, but Carter got a pretty nice scrub off too. Everybody's throwing big whips. So far, Hunter Braun holding his own. Not intimidated by the championship scenarios going on behind him. Carter tries to peek to the inside. He's going to almost pull up alongside here. He's going to get to the inside, and he may have just made that pass under the bridge. Yes, he has. Carter up into third. So now Johnson has to respond very quickly. Eaglin, Cross, now Carter up to third. Braun back to fourth. And then Johnson right there in fifth. Lang in sixth. And it looks like another Panini rider maybe down in seventh, I believe it could be. Johnson tries to go to the outside of Braun. Let's see if that line works. He doesn't get a great drive out of the corner, but it may well hold off on the inside here. And indeed it does. Johnson now finds his way up into fourth around Hunter Braun. So how quickly can Tyler Lang respond here? Trying to go with these guys at the front and not fall back. It is Dominic Tiberino, actually, the Tegrity rider. So that is not a Panini Motorsports ride, but Tiberino obviously very fast. He's on the number 23 Kyle Robb bike, but he's actually number 77. Lang trying to make quick work of Hunter Braun. And gosh, already so much racing has happened. We're not even yet 5 minutes into this moto. Look at this. Tiberino's going to try to get Lang. As Lang goes to the inside, he's going to hop up the inside to try to get Braun. Braun goes off the track. Tiberino pulls up alongside, trying to get both of them. But for the time being, Lang has moved up into fifth. And he's going to try to settle into that as Johnson starts going after Carter. Carter working on Cross. Eaglin still leading the race. To the outside, Carter kind of stacks it up. Johnson trying to sneak up in there as well. Far inside for Carter. Oh, Johnson hits Carter, but he stays up. He almost went down off the bike, and Lang around the outside of him moves up into that 4 spot. So other than Eaglin leading the race, our championship 4 are almost in backwards order. Your race lead, or your points leader, I should say, is in 5th. Second in the championship standing, Lang is in 4th, but he might lose that spot. Just made a mistake, and Johnson to the inside gets him back. So Lang has to settle back in behind him. And with that little mistake that Carter had made and got hit from behind by Johnson, he actually lost a little bit of ground to Zoic Cross. Nobody catching Colby Eaglin out front right now. Pulling away, consistently strong laps. Eaglin has been very, very strong down the latter half of this season so far. Really kicked off with that win at Redbud that he got. And Carter trying to go to work here on Cross, and Cross goes down, so Carter's going to shoot up into second. Now Johnson and Lang coming up from behind. Boy, I don't think I could have scripted this, I guess, any better from a storyline part, talking so much about these championship contenders leading into the broadcast, and then they all end up right at the sharp end of the field from the get-go. No early falls that are putting anybody well down the order, having to try to claw their way back up. It's really, other than Cross slotted in between these guys, turned into a mano-a-mano fight in this first moto between these guys, which is obviously what we'd like to see. Although we may have just lost Tyler Lang. Yes, we have. Lang has, where is he? Now he's ahead of James Wilcox there on the 172. So Lang must have went down. He's now behind Cooper Hunt. He went behind Seth Garrett. Hunter Braun also got back by. Something happened there to Tyler Lang. We didn't see it. It was just off the screen, it seemed. Not ideal for him because he's about to watch the other 3 championship contenders move into the top 3 as Johnson's trying to close up here on Zoa Cross. As I mentioned, though, some of these guys, they can try to play a bit of a spoiler here. Zoa Cross, another one of those faces that you every now and again see. He puts together one of those motos. He runs up front, puts in solid lap times. And so far, so good for number 49 MX Locker Ride. But here comes Johnson down the left side of the track. Oh, they crossed over. I thought that was going to be contact in the air. But somehow Johnson squeaks by and makes the pass up into third. Almost came to tears there. But gets the pass done, settling into third now ahead of Cross and trying to run down Braden Carter, who's up in second. Eaglin still has that big gap going. And here is Lang back here trying to work his way forward through these guys. Gets around Seth Garrett by the looks of it. Yes, he does. Now trying to go after Cooper Hunt. Unfortunately for him, with those 3 out front, not often we see these guys crash when they're in clear air. Although it looks like we may have had something happen there with Braden Carter. He's dropped back to 4th. So yeah, Carter now in 4th. He just went off the single up the road as Cooper Hunt goes down. and Lang goes around him. He's back up into the 6th spot. So here's Braun in 5th, and there's Carter, another mistake. He had dropped back to 4th out of 2nd, got a little sideways heading up towards Godzilla. Settles in ahead of Braun once again, though, and is trying to erase that mistake from his memory. So now we got a Panini Motorsports 1-2. Eaglin 10 points down in the championship on his teammate Payson Johnson. So essentially controls his own destiny. If he wins out, if he wins all 4 of the final motos, he is the champion no matter what happens. And it looks like that might be the exact ideology he is going for here. Get out front early, get a big gap, let everybody else figure it out behind him, and hope that by the time they get up into 2nd, he can start cruising his pace. I don't think it's in that situation just yet, though. Payson Johnson in 2nd, looks to only be about 6 seconds or so behind his teammate, and we know all too well how Johnson is able to put together some ridiculously good lap times. It's actually under 6 seconds. It's 5.3 seconds. And doing a lap time check here as Johnson comes in up over the finish line jump, a 50.2 to a 52.6. There it is, like that lap alone, 2.5 seconds clawed away from Eaglin. So if that pace stays up, it's only going to be 2 more laps before Johnson just straight up catches Eaglin on pace. It's not usually the case. It's not usually that consistent. But just to give you an indication of how much time he was gaining that time. Get a unique perspective here, though, from Eaglin to see how the track is already kind of shaping up, where the ruts are getting deeper, how gnarly this big uphill Godzilla jump is, and then it's the same way coming down. You get this inside run, then you have to kind of seat bounce this thing, and you just kind of float way down this hill, land, and just power all the way to the bottom of the valley. Eaglin goes to this far inside, very nicely done. Car's back to the inside again. I think he's going to go middle rut here. Yeah, it's the 2nd rut. Actually, a little bit of a lag there, though, for Eaglin, so hopefully internet issues won't cost him some time here. Did lose about a second there, and I don't think it was internet specifically. I think he blew the rut. But Johnson is absolutely coming. Oh, and here comes Tyler Lang trying to get back up into 3rd. He's caught Zoe Cross, so he got around Braden Carter at some point. We haven't seen where Carter went now. But Lang trying to damage control a little bit here. Already so far back of the leaders, over 20 seconds down of the race lead. But P3 is what Lang is eyeing up. Yeah, where did Braden Carter go? He is down into 10th is Braden Carter. So looks so good early on. Oh, and Lang has gone down again. That's going to be Hunter Braun, I believe, coming through. So Braun goes back by, and just when Lang was trying to get back into 3rd, he drops back to 5th instead and loses even more ground. Peeking back out to the front, lap traffic already coming into play a little bit there. So Lang gets up right behind Braun. He's going to go to work on him immediately here. Let's see, inside line. He goes to the far inside. We saw Johnson make a pass there earlier. Lang alongside. He's going to go to the outside here. See if he can out-drag Braun into the sand. Yeah, he's got him to the inside and ahead already. And Lang moves back up into 4th, but he lost so much ground with that fall. Braun's not done yet either. Braun trying to peek up the inside. By the way, big shout out to Agris Sixna in chat. €10 donation says, "You are my favorite MX expert." Thank you. I really appreciate that. That is a very kind sentiment, and I really appreciate the donation, of course. Always goes a long way to help out me and my family and makes me able to keep coming back and doing these awesome broadcasts every year for you people. So really, really appreciate not only the kind words, but the donation as well. Big shout out to Agris Sixna. So it seems like just as quickly as that gap had come down, a few seconds here and there, Eaglin has stretched it back out just a little bit on Johnson. I wonder if perhaps some lap traffic is coming into play here. Honestly, in this game, it almost seems like hitting lappers first is a good thing, just because you're in clean air usually, and you can like slowly close up on them. They get the blue bar, they know somebody's coming, they have time to figure out when they're going to move out of the way, but then they move out of the way and suddenly the next rider's trying to come through behind them. They get back in the line, and then they're kind of stuck. They don't want to move out of the way twice in a row, so they go for a couple more corners, just trying to at least get some good time in and then pull out of the way, and sometimes it can affect whoever is coming through in second. Not the case there, though, as it looks like that was the 128, I believe, of Jake Kazarian moving out of the way nicely for Payson Johnson to come on through. But it is still Colby Eaglin out front. Terrific run down the stretch here. Should be noted, by the way, as well, Tyler Lang, who has now moved into third in this race, he is trying to complete the double, if you will, and he's going to try to do the same thing with Alexis Leclerc. Both of them are now Grand Prix champions, world champions in this game, after they clinched their championships on Monday evening. Well, Leclerc had already clinched it a week before that, but Lang finally got it clinched this week. And he had to beat Payson Johnson to that title. So he's already beat Johnson once for a championship. Johnson trying to not let it be twice, though. And at least the way it is right now for Lang's sake is he's only losing 2 points to Johnson in this scenario. So he's going to be 4 down after this moto if all else stays the same. Obviously not going to be that way. I think we're going to see a couple more changes before this race is over. But if it did stay this way, only 4 back of Johnson, and instead it'd be Eaglin who closes up to 7 back of Johnson, so only 7 points separate our top 3 with 3 motos to go. Big loser right now, though, is Carter. Lot of lost ground by not being in the mix of this fight anymore and having dropped outside of the top 5. He's going to try to claw his way back, obviously. But as we move into the halfway stage of this race, it's going to be a tall task, no question about it. Well, this gap is definitely coming down. Can tell you that much. Johnson definitely closed that gap back to 2.5 seconds. Shout out to Bobo in chat, donating $5 Canadian, I believe that is. CA $5, so I think that's Canadian dollars. I appreciate the donation, Bobo. No message to go with your dono, but I still very much appreciate you dropping it off in the chat. Always like shouting you guys out when I can. Got a little break in the action. Johnson hasn't quite closed that gap down enough yet. Some lapped riders down, but they're all weaving through. Then we got another rider down, but he's off the side of the track. 396. I think that's Gable, Charles Gable, perhaps. So Eaglin, ever the consistent rider, just trying to put out what's going on behind him of his mind and focus forward, not think about the gap coming down, not think about who is catching him either. So far, so good. And as we are 16 minutes in, while they have a bit of a gap established out front, let's go ahead and quickly run through the field. A little top 20 rundown. This one is brought to you by the folks at Racetech Suspension. Racetech.com is your place to go to get yourself your suspension service, your engine service, or just a couple other things that they do over at Racetech. They were a longtime supporter here of the MX Simulator National and Supercross Championships, and we definitely recommend you guys go through them for your suspension needs, as they have gone through us for their advertising needs for many years, and we greatly appreciate it. So Racetech brings you this top 20 rundown, currently led by Colby Eaglin on the Panini Motorsports number 24. His teammate Payson Johnson, points leader on the number 351 machine, sits in second. It is third for Tyler Lang on the MV Films number 14. Fourth for Zoa Cross on the MXsoccer.com number 49. Fifth for Phil Bull, the rider out of Australia, on the Team Volcom number 22. Sixth for Hunter Braun, still right behind him on the Nova GFX number 243. That was your whole shot winner. And Carter's up to seventh now. So Braden Carter on the SwapMotoLive.com number 32, back into P7. Eighth for Seth Garrett on the VlastMX.com number 92, just ahead of Dominic Tiberino on the Tegrity number 77, though. He's using Kyle Robb's number 23 bike, and he's going to go around Seth Garrett. That is for eighth, and it looks like he got it. Colt Hans back here is in ninth on the number 821 Nova GFX machine. And I'm sorry, that was 10th. 11th for Cooper Hunt on the 304 Privateer effort. 12th for Jacob Hubbard on the VlastMX.com number 46. 13th for Frank Jackson on the Veracco number 67. 14th for Trevor Burns on the number 122 Privateer effort here as well. 15th for Dylan Cavacuti on the Takatoji number 177. 16th is James Wilcox, his teammate, on the 172. 17th for Tyler Bartlett on the C4 Designs TM Factory Racing. That looks like number 633. This is 18th, Luke Sullivan on the QM1, number 65. Sullivan, a Grand Prix race winner, won his first ever Grand Prix race earlier this week in Sweden. 19th for Alex Kerr on the Takatoji, number 352. And 20th, final points paying position right now, goes to Trent Adams on the QM1, number 50. That was a very quick run through the field, brought to you by Race Tech Suspension. Back to the lead, though. Eaglin being caught by his teammate, Payson Johnson, who almost laid it down coming out of that corner. And as we reach the 2/3 distance of this race, oh boy, it is on at the front of the field. This is going to be a statement by Johnson if he can go through and win this moto. Extends his points lead across the board. Rider down. That was Daniel Irvine, it looks like, and he gets back on and hits Johnson, and Johnson goes down. Oh no, Daniel Irvine getting up from a crash, jumps right back into the main line as Johnson was coming by. And oh, Johnson hitting the deck. Let's hope that doesn't cost him a shot. It's still trying to win this moto, or else there's going to be some tempers, and he goes down again. He cases the double coming out of the second corner there, and he's off the bike this time for a very long time because he rolled well into this corner, and then he just cut the track. I hope that's not going to be some cuts for him. But Johnson now gets rolling, and he's going to be 20 seconds down, I believe, of his teammate. Well, 15 seconds by the looks of it. Maybe his teammate must have had a small crash somewhere. But that is not ideal whatsoever for Johnson. 2 crashes in 2 corners, essentially. And Lang not going to close up a whole bunch. He's now going to be 20 seconds down of Johnson. So a little bit closer. He probably saw that carrot dangling a little bit more in front of him now, and with 10 minutes left in this race, maybe hoping for a couple more mistakes out of Johnson. Oh man, Johnson is riding loose right now too. I think he's perhaps a little bit frustrated at the scenario. The unfortunate part for him is that even if he does protest Daniel Irvine for that re-entry and gets him suspended, it doesn't really make a difference for Johnson. He still is going to lose these points that he may have gained had he was been able to catch up to his leader or catch up to his teammate for the race lead and pass him. Ooh, Nygren going down in the background there. So Zoe Cross is still in 4th. Here is Carter, though, in 5th. So if Carter can catch up to Cross in 4th, limiting the damage that he had already done by falling so far down the order early on in this race. But P4, while Eagland is out front, and they were only 2 points apart, this is going to be a 7-point swing if he goes up into 4th for this one between himself and Eagland. So he would instead be 9 points behind Eagland, but Eagland closing up to 7 back of Payson Johnson as we're running. So this would be 16 down in the championship for Carter, only losing 4 points on Johnson this moto. Not the worst thing ever, and he's probably very much hoping that Eagland wins this race and Johnson does not. But not ideal from his perspective, and he does still actually have to pass Zoe Cross. He's obviously not in 4th just yet. He's trying to close up that gap. Another lap rider getting up sideways. Always scares me when these guys do that. That is definitely grounds for a potential protest leading to a penalty. There was a lot of discussion about that in the Race Factor Gaming Discord today. Some tempers were flaring. Oh, mistake out of Cross, and here comes Carter. He's going to try to double up right behind him now, and battle is on for P4 on the track. Zoe Cross on the 49, Carter on the 32. And this would be for 4th place if he can get it done. 8 minutes left in the moto, so he's got plenty of time to make it happen. But I think for his sake, he'd rather just get this pass done, get a big gap, and not have to think about it anymore. Unlikely at this point that he gets to Lang or any of the leaders ahead of him. So really, he's just got to hope that he can still get this P4 away from Cross, and he's going to do it because Cross just went down. Did not fall off the bike on the number 49 machine, but he did high side out of the corner a little bit and lay it over, and that will cost him the position and cost him about 2 or 3 seconds of time as well. He's dropped a little bit off of Carter. He's not right on him anymore. Still could get Lang, I guess. Lang isn't that far ahead of him. Maybe, was it 12 seconds? Oh, no, it's 10 seconds, so it is just one fall-off crash that Carter needs to hope for here. He gets that one fall-off out of Tyler Lang, and he is up into third in this moto. But again, still would lose 2 points in the championship. How about this, though? 5-second lead now for Eaglin on Johnson. The gap came way down. Eaglin must have had some falls, and Johnson's must have just been putting some consistent lap times down. We'll go on board with the 351. Whoa, Johnson, big scrub at the top of the hill, and he just brings it back. And a nice big scrub down the hill, clearly pushing the envelope. This should be fairly fun to watch from his perspective as he tucks to the inside here. And you can see that pit board bottom left of the screen, time coming down ever so slightly here and there. In the upper right-hand corner of your screen, you'll see the map, and we're on that red arrow right now, which is Payson Johnson. But the green dot ahead of him is the race leader. And you can see there's not much time separating the two. .3 seconds gap continues to come down, but he does have to go through a couple lapped riders. And time is also running out a little bit for him to try to get up there and make something happen again. 5-second gap, about 5 minutes left in the race. We'll get a good indication on how much time he is gaining per lap, though, right now. So goes through these sand rollers, trying to work through some lap traffic up ahead. And a 55.5 to a 57.9. So once again, we're looking at about 2.5 seconds gained per lap. Johnson to his teammate out front. As the gap continues to come down, I gotta wonder what keeps going through Eaglin's head, though. I think from his perspective, what you really just want to do in this situation is put your head down and just ride your own race. There's only so much you can do. There's only such a pace that you can run. And you just have to hope that Johnson pushing the envelope behind you warrants a mistake out of him instead. Lap riders mixed in here. One of them is a QM1 rider. Can't quite see the number on his back. Just kind of blending in there. Johnson trying to go to the inside. It is that the 30? It's like the number 30. But I thought Devin Davis was number 30 in this series. Didn't realize he was on QM1. I thought he was on Swap Moto Live. Anyway, finally gets around those two lapped riders. Little swap coming down the hill, lost some time. And for Eagland ahead of him, not a whole lot of traffic in front of him right now that he has to worry about. So that's going to be a breath of fresh air as he looks up ahead of him off that floating jump, and he sees maybe 2 riders within the next 5 sections ahead of him. Through the bumps and the rough. Track definitely wearing in pretty deep. You can see how deep some of these ruts are getting as well. So coming down, we are almost at the 27-minute mark of this moto. Time is flying. And with about 3 minutes and 2 laps still to go on the clock, Colby Eaglin is looking at about 4 laps still to run here. And as the gap continues to come down to Payson Johnson, he's really hoping that those laps were shorter. Oh, battle for third. Lang has been caught by Carter. Carter tries to go to the inside. Lap traffic mixed in. Carter on the 32, Lang on the 14. Through the sand rollers. Lang does not want to lose more points at all. He would be 4 down in the championship. If he stays third, he'd be 6 down. If he loses this spot to Carter, and then, of course, that all flip-flops. If Johnson takes the lead out front, it goes to even bigger gaps. Carter tries to get to the inside. Backs out of the challenge. I think that's Irvine again on the 872. This time just trying to stay completely out of the way. Nicely done. Carter lands off the track a little bit there. always have to keep in mind that this could come down to cuts. I think Johnson just went down. He did on the other side of the track. Johnson down out of second. So that might be the win in hand for Eaglin now. Although when we saw Johnson get the gap initially, Eaglin did cough it back down to a small gap. It was about 20 seconds at one point, down to a 5-second gap, and then it's going to go back out to about a 15-second gap with Johnson going down again. But this battle for third is absolutely on fire right now. Carter trying to get something done here on Lang. He does not want to lose any more points himself. Oh, who's that getting back on the track right there? I think that's James Wilcox. He moves out of the way. Very nicely done. Lets both of these riders through. Really well done there to get the blue bar in such short notice and still move out of the way. And Carter down the inside gets by Lang. So Lang blew the rut, and Carter takes advantage of it to go up into third. So now does Lang respond? Zoacross well behind these guys. So at this point, no point in laying over. If you want these points, if you want to try to win this championship, you need every single point that you possibly can. And it looks like Lang is absolutely putting the gauntlet back down once more, trying to go after Braden Carter here. Kind of stacks it into the corner, but Carter had to deal with a lapped rider getting up in front of him. A lapped rider. Oh, and then Lang loops out and goes down. I don't know if he was wary to that lapped rider coming across the track, but he definitely just got two over the back of the bike and loops out, and that might be Carter, third place locked down. What a weird crash. Back to our leader, though. Eaglin out front. Steadily holding on to a nice gap. Looks like it's out to about 13 seconds. And time about to expire, which means the 2-lap board going to come out next time by. And a quick reminder, if you're just joining us, this championship fight is an absolutely epic duel amongst our top 4. There's only 12 points separating our top 4 in the championship. Coming into this round, Johnson, our points leader, he had a 2-point lead on Tyler Lang, and a 10-point lead on Colby Eaglin, a 12-point lead on Braden Carter, but obviously Eaglin may well be on his way to this Moto 1 win. He would only be 7 down of Johnson after this Moto, and with the flip-flopping of Carter and Lang, Carter now going to lose 2 points to Johnson. He would be 14 down, and Lang going to lose 4 points this Moto. He would be 6 down. Payson Johnson after this first Moto is done. So Eaglin about to knock on the door for second in the point standings if he can hold on for this race win. But I don't think he gives one crap about finishing second in this championship. He has got his eyes on the prize and wants to win this 2020 Ride365.com National Championship in the 250 division. 2-lap board out. Eaglin looking for yet another Moto win, trying to really put together the best finish to a championship I've seen in a long time. You go back about 4 rounds ago even, when he won at Red Bud. He was not really in championship discussion. He was close, but it was one of those, man, he's going to need some luck or just some sheer willpower to get him back into this title fight, and that is exactly what has happened. He has gone out and won motos when he needs to, consistently finished on the box, clawed this points gap down, and now from 4th in the championship, going to be 7 points down with 3 motos left to run in the series. Payson Johnson got to be a bit beside himself on how this one has got away from him in a couple manners this moto so far. I'm sure he'll look back on the contact with lap traffic as one of the catalysts, but as well, he crashed on his own a few times. Then Carter quietly worked his way from 10th up to 3rd in this moto, and Lang is probably kicking himself right now. He is not going to be happy whatsoever to lose the most points of the championship 4 in this one. And our top 4 are definitely showing their strengths here at this point. Zoacross looks like he's about 15 seconds back of Lang in 5th. Then we got Seth Garrett in 6th. Phil Bull is slipped back to 7th. Dominic Tiberino is now in P8. 9th for Cooper Hunt and 10th for Trevor Burns. We got some good close battles going on as Frank Jackson just got around Trevor Burns there in that corner. So good battles throughout the field. Definitely apologize to some of these riders back here who are going to watch the stream back and be annoyed that they didn't get enough stream time And I get it. I remember way back when I used to stream these races back in 2013, I had a couple of people yelling at me that I was just paying too much attention to the championship fight between Tyler Crane, Tyson Fresquez, and Zach Dupuis in the 450 class. But even then, it was only separated by 4 or 5 points between all of them. These championship scenarios are dramatic. This is what these guys are racing for, trying to win. So I try as much as I can to keep you people at home updated on the scenarios and keep an eye on these guys who have all year long been a cut above the rest. That's why they're battling for a title down the stretch here. Seems like these gaps back here have opened up a little bit anyway. Trevor Burns still trying to keep close tabs on Cooper Hunt. Frank Jackson has Hunter Braun right behind him. White flag is out here. Luke Sullivan also charging forward. As mentioned, I barely got a chance to talk about it earlier, but he was able to pick up the second moto win earlier this week at the Swedish Grand Prix, which was his first ever Race Strategy Gaming Pro Moto victory. And Sullivan was very thrilled with that. And sometimes in this game, that confidence boost that you get from going out there and actually winning a moto against some of the toughest competition in the game really is a big shot in the arm for you. Obviously, it's not working out too well for him here in the first moto, but Sullivan's one of those guys. Maybe he starts up front second moto, riding that confidence high of winning earlier this week in Uddevalla. Ooh, almost goes down. Whoa, whoa, the camera's freaking out. Didn't know where he was for a second there. Oh, meanwhile, up front, it was Colby Eaglin taking the win. He was so far out in front in the end, I didn't even realize it, but Eaglin takes the moto win. Payson Johnson coming down here in second. He will finish this moto in second. And with it, extend his championship lead on Tyler Lang. Braden Carter looks like he will finish up third, no problem, barring a late crash, and Lang is going to be fourth. So yeah, those points tallies, as mentioned earlier, are going to be Johnson 6 points now ahead of Lang, 7 points ahead of Eagland, and 14 points ahead of Braden Carter with 3 motos still to run. So here is Crossback in P5. Looks like he is going to come through pretty unheated in the 5 spot. A solid effort for Cross, no less. So Seth Garrett should be 6th here. Phil Bull is trying to keep him honest down the stretch. Barring cuts of massive proportions here, these gaps looks like they are going to stay the same. So Phil Bull crosses 7th. Cooper Hunt going to come down here. He's going to finish up in 8th. Tiberino comes through in P9. And Trevor Burns looks like he's going to just hold off Frank Jackson for 10th. Jackson comes across 11th. Hunter Braun picked up the whole shot, and he will finish up this one in 12th. 13th will be Luke Sullivan. And then the first man a lap down was Dylan Cavacuti in 14th, 15th for Tanner Rogers, 16th for Colt Hahn, 17th was Hubbard, 18th Kurt, 19th Spencer, and 20th was Adams. Let's take a look at cuts. Looks like Trevor Spencer jumped past Alex Kerr on cuts. He moves up to 18th. And the rest stayed the same, so that was the only change in cuts. If you're new to the game, the cut system is a penalty system applied by game creator Josh Vanderhoof. So when you go off the track and you miss a timing gate or 2 that is assigned to each section of the racetrack, you'll usually be hit with a bit of a penalty, and those penalties are added onto your total race time at the end of the race. So that's why you'll see some guys drop a position or 2 based on those penalties. But everything else stayed the same out front, and Eaglin confirmed Moto number 1 winner here at Ironman. Wow. What a way to open this one up. And now we are going to head to a small intermission here, but again, we do not go off the air for this intermission here at Ironman. If you guys have a question that you would like to ask me in chat, now would be a fabulous time to do so. I am sitting here at my computer, just waiting to chat with you lovely people. And if there's something on your mind, go ahead and send it my way. I'd be happy to chat about it right now. Alrighty, Brendan Kennedy wants to know, got a question for you. Is MX Simulator a sim engine? I don't know what you mean by that, like a sim engine. The game was built in OpenGL, which is a pretty outdated system at this point. For a physics engine, I suppose, but it was pretty much manually put together by Josh Vanderhoof. He was the only person that developed and worked on the game. But it was created back, I think he said he started working on the project back in 2004. Officially, he released a final beta, if you will, of the game in 2007 and officially released the game in 2008. So it was created on a pretty outdated system now because obviously 2008, you know, that's 12 years ago. There's a lot of stuff that's improved with video game content and quality. So that's why it doesn't look maybe as nice as some of the newer games, but it plays very well. So I'm not sure if you call that a sim engine, but I think it's pretty well put together. Kyle Miller wants to know, who is the better outdoor rider, Jesse Mullins or Alexis Leclerc? At this point, I think Leclerc has more wins, does he not? So I'd have to give the nod to Leclerc, but both have their strong suits. Mullins was by far one of the best combos of speed and consistency I've ever seen in this game. Like he had the speed to win moto after moto, but he would also finish second or third almost every race as well if he needed to. So Mullins was pretty good at that. Leclerc, a lot of hit and miss sometimes, but he's gotten a lot better about it lately. But I would give the nod to Leclerc. Joey Perry wants to know, does the track stay beat up or reset? It resets every time, unfortunately. Vanderhoof, who created the game, has talked extensively about having to, resave the track for everybody so that when you come into the server, it appears like it's already been used before. It's a whole system that would take a lot more work and a lot more effort for your game to load, I think. So he just doesn't want to go through that effort. But the track does wear in hard, harder than real life, I think, almost during the motos, and gets pretty deep. And they try to compensate for it so that it's really rough by the end of the moto and then smooth again at the start of the next moto. WheezyCo wants to know, why don't you get back into racing? Because I am not very good at this game anymore, to be 100% honest with you. I've raced AMs a little bit, but it's just not as exhilarating to me as it once was. Tom Lees Jr., who do most teams go through for team skins? That's a good question. I mean, I don't think there's any one guy anymore that's really doing like a majority bulk load of it. I think every team has their guy that does it. For example, our team, SYS FanMX Racing, we have 11 riders on the team. The creator of FanMX Designs, Blake Scheiman, makes our team's graphics. Alex Heckman got the bike and all that stuff put together this year, so he did a terrific job with that. But you go to another team like MV Films, and Jeremy Cohenauer made the Honda that team rides on. I don't know if he designed the bike as well. Maybe somebody else did the skin for that bike, and then they outsource and use different gear that other people have made. They're all using the Dre rider model now, so it's kind of all over the place. It's not really just one guy that is putting together all these teams. It's all of their individual, team personnel, whatever you want to call it, that are working together to get these team packs that they all have out to show on the streams. Snacks wants to know, what's my favorite dirt bike brand? I don't really have one. I think all the ones that are out there right now are pretty dang good, so I would ride pretty much any of the modern bikes and be happy with them. Seth B wants to know, do I still play a PS4 by any chance? I do from time to time, but it's super rare right now. Being a new father, I don't have a ton of time that I just sit down and just hang out and play video games, honestly. It's been really hard for me to even get content up on the channel, so I don't really have like leisure time to sit down and play video games, but I'm trying to get slowly back into it and have a little bit more kind of time to myself to do stuff like that. It's just been a little bit tough. The Reed 34 wants to know, has both the World Championship and National Championship been won by the same rider in each division before? Not together, I don't believe. I don't think the World Champion and National Champion happened in the same year for both classes. But if I remember right, so 2013, Zach Dupuis won the 450 World Championship and the 450 National Championship. And I think Fjellberg repeated that feat on a 250 in 2014, World Champion 2014, Outdoor Champion in 2014. Other than that, I'm not sure if that's happened other than that. Maybe Leclerc in 18. Leclerc Outdoor Champion 18, World Champion 18, I think also happened. It's a good question, though. I'd have to do a little bit more research. Eastern Snowboarder wants to know, wasn't this a school project for JLV? I don't think so. JLV is in his 50s now, so when he started making this game, he was in his late 30s, early 40s, I think. So I don't think it's a school project. He's a Linux developer, so he knows his way around a computer. He likes dirt bikes. He put this together. It's been a huge hit, I think, for a lot of people. So in that sense, I don't think it was a school project. It might have been. He may have been in school at the time. I really just don't know. Sturban wants to know, would it be possible to make a game with physics just as good in a more updated engine? I think if he really wanted to, JLV could recode this game in a newer engine. It would just be super time consuming. The code that he wrote this game for in OpenGL is outdated. He would need to rewrite it all. It's not just like he can port it over. But if JLV wanted to, he could. It's just super time consuming. I think him working on it by himself would probably take 3 or 4 more years of doing it. And that's, him doing it every day and being motivated to put time into it. He may be doing it in the background. We really don't know. He just put one snapshot out this year, first one in 9 months or whatever that he put out. So maybe, fingers crossed, I guess, but I'm not going to hold my breath too much about it. Cody Walker wants to know, you think JLV will ever do a big update? No, probably not. I think he's pretty well done with this game at this point. Like, he's got a lot out of it, made a lot of money off of it, and he's not really a young man anymore, I should say. So I don't think he's really that intent on rebuilding it. Maybe, but I don't know. Sturban wants to know, why hasn't JLV done like rain and mud and stuff? Well, you can do mud and rain and stuff. You can't get it so that it sticks to the bike. That's a whole different ball game. But you can, in this game, get a mud traction, make it appear like it's raining. You have to use billboard files that are animated. But you can absolutely make it. There's plenty of tracks out there that are like, it looks like it's raining, it looks like it's muddy, it's super hard to ride, it's slippery, etc. I've raced tracks like that in this game. They're out there, you just have to dig for them. But in terms of like mud and stuff sticking to the bikes, why that's almost impossible is that all the bikes and skins in this game are open source. They're not made by JLV, so he can't like determine where mud would cake up on Jeremy's 2021 Honda. Because Jeremy made the bike. Like, it's going to, look stupid if JLV is like, yeah, it's going to cake up in these spots, but then it's floating off the side of the bike, on Jeremy's Honda because of the way that the shape files and stuff are. So that's why he hasn't, like, done it so that you have to rip tear-offs and it's, like, cakes on your goggles and stuff like that. It'd just be so much more work for him to have to fit it all into this model of what these guys are building with the game itself. Alrighty. Warm-up lap out on the track right now. These guys are going to get a little parade lap in and then start moto number 2. So they're just going to go through the first corner here and have a bit of a blast. But we're continuing to go through the chat here. When do you think electric bikes will become successful? I don't know if there's like a defined year that'll happen, but I think that you'll see more and more electric bikes throughout this decade. The younger bikes are a huge deal in my opinion because it's a good way to get kids to go from Striders to Stasics to like a KTM E50, and you can do all that like in your front yard. Like, you don't have to go to a track to get them to learn how to ride a dirt bike anymore, which is how I did it. Like, I went to a track to learn how to ride. you can just go in your backyard and have them putt around in circles and learn how to ride a bike, and then you take them to the track and they learn more and stuff like that. I think that ideology of it is huge, and I think you're going to see more of that growing here in the next decade. I don't know how fast, but by the end of the decade, I think you'll see a lot of e-bikes around, just not racing or anything like that. Happy birthday, Tyler Tilson. KTM Johnson wants to know, have I played Microsoft Flight Sim 2020? I haven't yet, but I definitely want to at some point. Kyle Miller wants to know, how many copies has MX Sim sold? I don't know. I think it's up to 40,000 now. So 40,000 times $42 a piece. You know, do that math. That's a ton of money. Seth B wants to know, are you ever going to host or commentate an All Out series? I'd like to, but again, just so time consuming right now. I just don't have a ton of time to do that. Evan Steinberg says, Kellen, how was your RacerX video today about Barsha's save? So first of all, the MIPS Save of the Week video that I do on RacerX Online is not really determined by me. We are told what is the save by whoever wants to, you know, step up this week and say, yeah, that's the save of the week. So then we clip it and pull it together. The reason I said it was a save, though, was because Justin Barsha himself said he almost didn't come back on the bike. He almost threw himself so far off the bike that he didn't bring it back. So that's how it was a save. And then he almost stalled in the next corner again, another kind of save thing. Anyway, thanks for all the questions. Sorry I didn't get to everything in chat, but we are set to go racing here. It is time for 250 Moto number 2. The championship hangs in the balance. Let's see what's going to happen here at Ironman as we drop the gate once again. Looks like a Yamaha into the first corner. It is the 499 of Tanner Rogers picking up the Studio 8 Hole Shiad Award as Hunter Braun, another good start. Brayton Carter on the 32 is up there. Looks like Johnson on the 351 got a good start as well. We got the 862 of Benjamin Miljkovic. Sorry, I'm saying that wrong. He's up here, but there is Johnson. Lang, another good start. Eaglin on the 24. He's also mixed in there. I think that's Trevor Spencer, maybe on the SWAMotolive.com KTM. But they're all chasing the Canadian Tanner Rogers as he jumps back down the hill. Carter shoots down up into second. Rogers, Carter. You got Donovan up here in third early on, and Johnson's down. He's stacked up in the corner. Lang and Eaglin go by. Johnson gets up. Oh, we got a big stack up. Riders getting together. That's Miljkovic. There's the 872 of Irvine is down. Is that Trevor Spencer, I think? No, that's J.R. Reyes on the 552 getting up. There's a ton of riders going down right there, but a lot of the championship hopefuls going through, and Carter's trying to go to the lead. He's trying to make amends quickly as he almost triples over the top of Rogers. So Carter trying to go after Rogers immediately. You can see Lang and Eaglin just off the back of these guys. Payson Johnson's coming through in about 7th right now. But Carter, obviously, after losing the most, or actually he ended up getting 3rd in the first moto, so he did not lose the most points. Sits 14 down in the championship. He's got to pretty much win all these motos here on out. With 3 motos remaining, he has got to get to the front, and he's got to hold it on as fast as, or as long as he possibly can, and hope to win this moto here, gain those points back. 1 lap in the books. Rogers leads. Carter sneaking up the inside. There it is. Move for the lead. Braden Carter out front at Ironman. Rogers drops back to second. Donovan third. And then here is Lang and Eaglin coming through. 4th and 5th early on. Lang trying to catch up to Donovan. Eaglin trying to stay close. And then right behind them, we have Dalton Plessinger, another Panini Motorsports rider, before Payson Johnson comes through in 7th. So this time, it is almost exactly the opposite order that they are in the championship that they are currently running early on the track, but not quite up inside of the top 4 just yet. Amazing to me, though, that all these guys seemingly getting good starts, both motos. Nobody outside the top 7 on the start on either of the motos. Kind of impressive. Donovan trying to hang with these guys as early as as long as he can out front. I keep saying early instead of long. I don't know why my mind's going there. Oh man, Donovan a little sideways. Lang trying to come up the inside. Launches out and moves up into the 3 spot. Eaglin trying to go through as well up into 4th. Ooh, everybody's getting all kinds of sideways in the air up there. And Johnson got around his teammate Plessinger and is coming up behind these guys. Might be why you see Lang and Eaglin trying to make quick moves here. They got around Donovan. Donovan's trying to fight back. Oh, and Lang's down. Lang takes Donovan with him. Lang off the bike, and there goes Payson Johnson. Here comes Dalton Plessinger on the 61 going through, and Lang gets going behind Donovan now. So lost a lot of time in that fall. Payson Johnson's going to love seeing that one. Not ideal for him to see Colby Eaglin ahead of him, though, once again. Eaglin already trying to go after Rogers for that 2nd spot. And Carter just pulling away out at the front of the field. Here it is, Eaglin down the inside, going to move up into 2nd around Rogers. So Eaglin and then Rogers now in 3rd. And oh, what happened? Payson Johnson, he slipped back here with Lang, so maybe he went down as well. Oh, whips in front of Lang, though, and he's trying to get back around Donovan there. Lang goes to the inside as well. They're going to go bar to bar down this hill. Could come to tears with how long you're in the air off of that jump, just slowly drifting together. But fortunately, Lang does not get hit. Now he's going after Payson Johnson ahead of him. Johnson a big scrub. Lang trying to stay close. Plessinger being a bit of a spoiler here for his own teammate in that sense. I do not have a clue how the team dynamic is in this team. So many riders on this team that I don't think there's really any team orders, team tactics on the line. Johnson trying to close up on his teammate Dalton Plessinger, though. Aaron's younger brother, Aaron Plessinger's younger brother, Dalton here. Lang still lurking back there. Johnson tries an inside line, almost hits Plessinger in the back as they come through, and Johnson's going to pass his teammate. Now, here's where I would see maybe a little bit of team tactics, if there is any. How hard does Plessinger race Lang compared to his teammate? If Lang tries to make a pass, does Plessinger try to shoot a dive bomb pass back up the inside? Does he defend harder? Things like that. Looks like Lang lost the toe a little bit there. Just kind of slipped out of the corner and lost some traction, so didn't quite get as close as he was to Plessinger, who got off very well there. Still Carter out front, though. These guys are all pretty close to the lead still. It's not a big gap at all. Plessinger splitting the difference. It's Carter, Eaglin, Rogers, now Johnson up to 4th. Plessinger sitting back in 5th, and Lang coming through now in 6th. Lang liking that outside on entry here. If he's close enough, that really could be an opportunity to just make a straight up pass right there. Look at this, outside all the way, and Plessinger kind of cuts him off, and then they're going to go bar to bar. A little bit of dualies. Lang scrubs hard, but short and goes down. He was short on the table, and he's off the bike. Oh, no, Tyler Lang coming unglued a little bit here at the penultimate round of the championship. Oof, almost got up right there in front of Luke Sullivan. Quickly trying to go back after the 65 machine, kind of blows the corner there at the bottom of the hill. So Sullivan keeps him at bay. That was a very strange crash. You don't often see guys crash by casing a jump. I think it was just that Lang was trying so hard to get that power back down to the ground to make that pass on Dalton Plessinger. He put that rear tire down. You land wide open on the rear tire in too short of a gearing. Very easy to fall off the bike, even if you just barely clip a knuckle. This game is kind of weird physically how it actually wants you to land a lot more nose heavy to try to save yourself. In real life, obviously you want to land rear heavy and use a lot more of the body to try to soak up something big. But in this game, because it wants to use so much more of the suspension rather than the body in this game, if you don't land on the nose, it's much higher risk of actually having a fall-off crash from impact. It's like Plessinger may have gone down himself, though, because he's now behind Chase Donovan, and he's right in front of this group as Lang continues to work on Sullivan. Rider down. Is it must be someone disconnected off the side of the track. Inside move, Lang almost alongside there of Sullivan. Not quite yet. Let's see if he scrubs at the top of the hill here. Not going crazy with it though, because he just had a moment there from a scrub. Now almost alongside, coming back down the other side. Sullivan goes for a hard scrub to try to get the power down, but this is where Lang likes that outside. He charges in, and again, that outside, if he's close enough, I think it's good enough for a pass. It definitely seems faster than going to the inside, but obviously you want to defend if you're in Sullivan's situation. So now Lang goes through, and he's trying to close up on Plessinger, but he almost went down there. Coming out of the corner, a little bit of a weird swap. Trying to get his momentum rolling and go after Plessinger ahead of him. As it stands right now, though, Lang is definitely going to lose third in the championship. He's actually maybe in danger of losing fourth in the championship with Carter out front. Or I should say losing third in the championship. He'll lose second in the championship to Eagland. Oh, no. There goes Sullivan down. Looks like the exact same thing that just happened to Lang happened to Sullivan, where he kind of cased the knuckle, landed wide open, and hit the deck. Plessinger keeping Tyler Lang at bay. Chase Donovan having a great ride early on. Tanner Rogers mixed in. Oh, Johnson just went down. Payson Johnson hits the deck. You saw in the background Carter going through. There goes Eagland. Oh, and then Alex Kerr goes down, trying to avoid Payson Johnson. So now Rogers almost gets together with Johnson there. They're still side by side, but Johnson doubles by, and Rogers just kind of conceding the position there. So in the end, Johnson actually does not lose a position given that fall-off crash, but he does lose quite a bit of time onto his teammate Eagland, who he's much closer to before that fall. Now Rogers right there in fourth, and we got Donovan coming up the hill behind them. Plessinger and Lang. 10.5 minutes down, 19.5 minutes still to go, plus 2 laps. Plenty of racing on hand. There's that outside line again. Lang loving that one. And sharp inside here, then carry speed all the way to the outside here. It's good flow as well, because you're not really having to hop across ruts or anything. You're staying basically in one line all the way through. And just letting your momentum carry you. You got very close to Plessinger there, almost jumped onto his back tire. And Lang continues. At the bottom of the hill there, he charges so deep into that corner, he keeps blowing that rut at the bottom of the hill, and then he loses a little bit of traction going up the hill as Plessinger goes for the triple, doesn't quite get it. And here's Lang, excuse me, alongside of him. Plessinger fighting tooth and nail, though. Maybe there is a little bit of team tactics at play, trying to keep Eagland and Johnson much more alive for this title than Lang, obviously. Through the rollers to the finish line jump, and these guys are closing up on Donovan quickly. Got a request for first person in chat, so we'll go on board here with Lang as he's trying to fight up right here behind Payson Johnson. Great battle here for the 5 spot. I'm sorry, not Payson Johnson. That is Dalton Plessinger ahead of him. Gosh, these Panini guys are just so confusing to me. But yeah, it is Plessinger right in front of him. And then Chase Donovan just up the road of them. Lang might have a drive here. He's going to get the landing a little bit smoother. Oh, he just clipped the end of that little roller there. He's trying to scrub at the top of the hill. Plessinger fighting so hard for it. Inside for Lang. Gets a 2-for-1 pass. And he moves up into 5th. In the process. Now Plessinger is going to try to shoot to the outside of him here, but remember Lang scoots over, takes this outside line. He's so good out there. Outside back to in and then back to out. That's what I'm talking about, that flow. You just don't really hop out of any ruts. You stay in the same line. And now Lang can see Tanner Rogers just up the road of him there in that teal gear on the Mad Cape Yamaha. So that would be P4 for him. And then you can see on the screen, the green dot is our race leader, Braden Carter. The dot immediately behind him is second, Colby Eagland. The dot behind that, and in front of these 2 dots, is P3 on the track, Payson Johnson. And then our battle for 4th coming down this backstretch right now. Lang definitely closing that gap up pretty quickly here on Rogers, and maybe on his way to setting his new personal best lap of the race as well. Carrying a lot of speed through those sand rollers into this final corner. Man, he got really close there. 53.3. Let's stay on board with him here for just a minute as he tries to pass Rogers. Kind of jump out to flat there and then a little bit sideways on entry. Hop in the bumps and to the inside. That's going to be it done. Up into fourth around Tanner Rogers. So Tyler Lang moving forward. And once again, our championship 4 are 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the track, with Rogers now bringing up the 5 spot. Zoe Cross was 5th in that first moto. Here is Carter, though, your race leader. Let's see if we can't do ourselves a little bit of like a look at how far the gaps are, excuse me, for the time being. Let's wait till we're in a section where they're coming at us, so maybe down that back straightaway. And you can get a clear indication, I should say, of where our top 4 in this race and in the championship are. Carter entering this race 4th in the championship. And Eaglin behind him entered the race 3rd in the championship. Then Johnson obviously leading with those red plates. Lang entered 2nd in the championship, but he is down in 4th right now. So almost reverse order, but here they come down this straightaway. And you can see coming into this corner just off there in the background in that red gear, Colby Eaglin coming through, trying to close that gap down. And then another flash of red on that green bike in the background. That is Payson Johnson in that Ride365.com table. And then big gap, 13 seconds back to Tyler Lang as he comes down. He's still got Tanner Rogers right on him, but that is the gaps as they stand right now. Halfway through this moto, 15 minutes down, 15 minutes still to go. Let's go ahead and do ourselves a quick top 20 rundown here. Excuse me. This one is brought to you by Ride365.com, title sponsor of the Ride365.com National Championship this year in MX Simulator. One-stop shop for gear, apparel, hard parts, and all sorts of other accessories that you need for your motorcycle or yourself to ride your motorcycle. Ride365.com has been a title sponsor of this series last couple seasons and a longtime sponsor of MX Simulator, so please support the sponsors who help us put these events on by heading over to Ride365.com today. They bring you this top 20 rundown, which is currently led by Braden Carter on the SwapMotoLive.com, number 32, trying to claw some points back in the championship. He would only be 9 back of Payson Johnson if things stay as is after this moto. Great ride so far for him. Eaglin trying to close up from 2nd to Panini Motorsports, number 24. Provisionally 7 points down the championship. He would only be 5 points down of Payson Johnson going into the final round next week if it stays as is. Payson Johnson is in 3rd, though, on the Panini Motorsports, number 351. That points lead for him would be 5 points over Colby Eaglin, because Eaglin would move into 2nd in the championship over Tyler Lang. And here is Lang in P4 right now. So astonishingly enough, as it is, Lang only losing 2 more points to Johnson. He would be 8 points down. So literally it would be 5 points between Johnson and Eaglin. Then it'd be 8 points. I'm sorry. Yeah, 5 points between Johnson and Eaglin, 8 points between Johnson and Lang, and 9 points between Johnson and Carter with 1 round left to go if it stayed like this. We still have half the motor to go, though, of course. Back here in P5 is Tanner Rogers on the Mad Cape, number 499, your whole shot winner. Tried to hold on to this group for as long as he can. Chase Donovan, I believe he's on the number 51 machine this year, but I don't have his skins right now. He was on the MXLocker.com team, but I guess he's not anymore. Benjamin Saves runs in 7th on the Elevated Motorsports, number 165. 8th for Frank Jackson on the Veraco, number 67. 9th now is Dalton Plessinger on the Panini Motorsports, number 61, but he goes down, so Luke Sullivan shoots up to 9th on the QM1, number 65. 10th is Tyler Bartlett on the C4 Designs TM Factory Racing, number 633, and Plessinger gets going in 11th. Jacob Hubbard on the VlastMX.com, number 46, runs in 12th. 13th for Phil Bull on the Team Volcom, number 22. 14th for Cooper Hunt on the Privateer Effort, number 304 machine. 15th for Daniel Irvine on the Takatoji Racing, number 872. 16th for Zoe Cross on the MXSoccer.com, number 49. 17th for Seth Garrett on the VlastMX.com, number 92. 18th for Trevor Burns on the Privateer Effort, number 122. 19th for Nathan Guy on the C4 Designs TM Factory Racing number 171. And 20th, Hunter Braun on the Nova GFX number 243. That is a top 20 rundown. Brought to you by the folks at ride365.com. Looks like Lang just went down again and Rogers went back by. So it switches again a little bit. 2 more points lost by Lang in this moto to Payson Johnson. So as it stands right now, he would lose 8 points on the day to Johnson and slip to 10 points back in the championship. He would also drop from 2nd to 4th in the championship. But amazingly, he's only 10 points down as we run of Payson Johnson in the championship standings, and he's 4th. Like, this is... Whew, you guys are going to want to tune in next week to watch this 250 race, because this is going to be insane. I definitely don't think I've ever seen a title fight only be separated by 10 points. And if Lang gets back around Rogers, it'd be only 9 points separating the top 4. With Braden Carter still down in 4th in the championship. But golly, man, that is insane. Seriously, any one of these guys could be your champion next week. Any single one of them. It is not clear and cut. It is for sure going to be Johnson, for sure going to be Eaglin, for sure going to be Carter, for sure going to be Lang. Any one of these guys could walk out of here with a title next week. Lang trying to go back to work and reel in Rogers. Rogers dealing with a bit of lap traffic. Here's Johnson. Johnson is really catching Colby Eaglin right now, and Eaglin looks like he is experiencing some internet issues a little bit there. I'm not sure what's going on with the 24 machine. Definitely some internet issues, though. He's still lagging even as I speak. Finally, looks like it's settling back down. That is by far the worst way to lose a championship. I've seen it happen before. Other people having internet issues. I've actually seen somebody lose a championship in this game from being DDoS attacked, which is another just absolutely ridiculous way to lose a championship. And people who do the DDoS attacks are some of the scum of the gaming earth. But it definitely seems like Eaglin is dealing with some internet problems of sorts as Carter continues to lead. It'll be about 9 minutes and 2 laps still to go when he hits the flag this time by. Well, step up to the plate. There's going to be an answer to that one for Braden Carter. He's not going to win the overall as it stands right now. That is going to go to Eaglin on the 1-2. But Carter's 3-1 will definitely be good enough for 2nd overall. While Johnson, he might go 2-3 here. That'd be for 3rd. And then Lang is just absolutely hoping he ends up with the 4th in this moto and limits that damage at all costs. Rider down. Didn't quite see the number, but Rogers definitely knows Lang is there and does not want to concede the position whatsoever. Lang a great drive out of that corner, almost alongside Rogers, but backs out of the challenge. Rider down up ahead. I think it still is that rider that was down early on and went off the side of the track and disconnected. Launching out to flat and then charging all the way up to the big Godzilla tabletop here at the top of the hill. Rider down on the inside. That looks to be Trent Adams on the 50 QM1 ride, but he's a lap down. So this battle continues. Is Lang still using this outside line? Yeah, he is, but it seems like being followed out there. Some of these other guys starting to take it as well. But this outside line he is still taking with really good results. Almost alongside, bar to bar, kind of dualies over the tabletop. Now can Lang shut the door? No. Rogers flies into the corner and holds the spot for the time being, so Lang has to think of a different spot to try to make a move here. Really just the two of them. Sullivan is pretty far back down in 6th. So it's a mano-a-mano battle right now for this 4 position. Lang desperate to get around Tanner Rogers here. Keep this points gap closed, so he'd only be 8 down of the lead going into the final round if he can get this pass done. Goes to the outside here, trying to enter the sand rollers. It's worked before where you get a good drive through here. But Rogers just too smooth on that outside. Now Lang shoots to the inside again, almost pulls alongside again. But he's been side by side with Rogers a few times this lap, and Rogers again just overpowering him out of the corners. Wonder if Lang starts getting a little bit desperate. I just don't think at this stage of the race he was willing to push the envelope to that stage and maybe put himself on the ground as well. But at some point he's going to have to try to make this pass instead of just showing him a wheel here and there. So up the hill they go once again. Lang still right on Tanner Rogers. Oh, and Eaglin has lost the spot. Johnson has gone up into second, and that flips the championship scenarios a little bit more. That's going to be 2 more points gained for Johnson. Carter now sitting 11 back in the championship. Eaglin instead losing 2 more points to Johnson in this moto, but he gained 1 overall in the day. He'd be 9 down in the championship. And, oh, Lang has lost the toe with Rogers. Oh, and now he's stuck in the corner, and he flips over and goes down. So Lang, as he runs in P5 with Johnson moving up to second, that's going to be 6 more points lost this moto alone. He would be 12 down in the standings. So still very close among the top riders. But as you can see, this is just, I don't know, man. If this is as close as it's going to be next week, obviously you want to be in Johnson's situation, have a gap, have some leeway here. Not out of the question that he could still get Carter before this is over as well, with Carter looking like he's about, what is that, 14 seconds up the road? Not even, 9.7 seconds. That gap is definitely coming down, a 55.4 to a 59.4. Carter buried in lap traffic a little bit right now. Trying to weave his way through. So Johnson taking advantage of it while he can. Ryder down. Oh, Carter just missed him. Hops to the inside. Lappers trying to do a very good job of moving out of the way. Nicely done there. So gap stays steady for the time being. I wonder if this is a situation though where Johnson, sensing that he could go win the moto and maximize his points, maybe overdoes it a little bit here. Last thing he wants to do is push too hard and lose points by going down and coughing up that spot back to Eagland. Which, by the way, this also flipped the overalls again. Carter now sitting in a position to win the overall with a 3-1 to the 1-3 put in by Eaglin, but they both obviously gained 1 point on Johnson for the day. Johnson just carrying so much speed through this section. I think this is J.R. Reyes. He's trying to come up and lap. It's one of the SwapMotoLive.com KTM riders. And Carter has magnificently weaved his way around all this lap traffic, so now it's all the task to do for Payson Johnson, who is throwing caution to the wind, as you can fully see with this onboard camera. He is pushing the envelope. But look at this. Weaving through lap traffic, under 7 seconds that gap now, 53.6 to a 56.6, 3 seconds gained that last lap alone. Johnson on the move, trying to come up, maybe win this moto, 10 seconds back as his teammates still, just hoping Johnson finds the ground perhaps. Oh, Johnson. Sometimes where he's putting his front wheel, I just can't believe that he isn't pushing over these ruts every now and then. Well, I just saw, he got a glimpse of Carter at the top of the hill there. As he comes up there, you'll see Carter going the other way. And then you'll see when he jumps down the hill right here, Carter will be in the S-turns at the bottom of the hill. You can't really see it because he's whipping. Carter going the other direction of him in the S-turns now. Gap staying pretty stagnant. It seems like Johnson might be running into a bit of a hitch in the moment here. Oh, now it drops down to under 6. But we saw this again in the first moto. Not saying it's going to happen again, but Johnson could seemingly pull that gap down to Eagland at will. Oh man, Lang has dropped another spot. He's behind Sullivan now. So Lang losing more points. That is only a 1-point drop right there. So he'd lose 7 points in this moto. He'd be 13 down in the championship, and he would drop to 4th in the standings. He's trying to go back after Sullivan. Payson Johnson, kind of the man to watch here, because you can see that gap. Oh boy, it's coming down. It's going to be 3 to go this time by, and Johnson is trying to eat those seconds away to race leader Braden Carter. Seems as though he's doing it rather methodically as well. Little wild child action here and there, but that gap is slowly coming down. It is not chunks of time. It is tenths here, tenths there. Doubles down, kind of hops through the rollers. Gosh, that's so smooth through there. Oh my goodness, he has caught Carter so fast. Now that gap is coming down in chunks. Carter going up Godzilla right now. Johnson heading up the hill right behind him. And with time set to expire this lap, he has got about 2.5 laps to make this happen. Dropping back down the other side of the hill. Here is Carter ahead of him. Lap traffic moves out of the way. That's Dylan Love and Seth Garrett on the 92 moving out of the way here of Carter, who goes to the inside. Johnson loves this outside. He rips around it and hits Love and almost goes down. Love ends up going down. That almost came unglued for Johnson, though. And there is Carter going out of the corner ahead of him. Johnson has now cleared Seth Garrett, and the battle for the lead is fully in effect here at Ironman. Johnson trying to win the moto, win the overall, extend his points lead. Going into the final round here, this would be a statement ride, no question about it. He has come from pretty far back to get to Carter at the end of this one. Time has expired, 2-lap board is coming out, and it's all to play for here. Carter cannot afford to lose more points. It's going to be too big of a blow to his championship. To the outside, Johnson goes to the inside as they hit the sand rollers. And here it is, 2-lap board now out. Oh man, Carter got a little sideways. Johnson is 100% there now. The only question now remains is, where does he try to size up a pass? Does he have a spot in mind? Is he going to wait for the door of opportunity to slide open from a mistake? Oh, he almost gets into the back of Carter. He actually stands it up. That's going to cost him a ton of time. Kind of got his front wheel turned in there, and that is just so hard to get fixed because you have to turn back the other direction and lean into the rut, which means you might fall down. And now Seth Garrett goes to the inside in front of him. Johnson cannot get the preferred line up this hill. Doesn't lose a ton of time, but it's definitely not exactly the line that he had in mind there. So bit of a gap open back up for Carter. He has some breathing room. And it seems like we're back to where we were about 2 laps ago. Oh, Carter, a big mistake there. Kind of stood it up in the rut. Johnson ripping through it. Then go to this outside here. So strong on this outside. So much speed carried. And just lays it over on this big race tech table in the center of the circuit. Lapped Ryder down. And Johnson again, just like we saw in the first moto with his teammate Eaglin, catching Braden Carter almost at will at this point. Carter launching out underneath the bridge, then scrubbing hard, and you can see, oh, Johnson launching here. Almost launches to flat. And the white flag is about to be waving. Oh, man, this is coming down to the very end, folks. Oh, Johnson a little wayward on rut exit. And again to the inside here while Carter goes to that outside. Carrying speed in, but Johnson's so efficient with that inside, doesn't lose much time at all. In fact, maybe gain some time here. Coming down as the white flag waves. Johnson a little sideways. Oh, and lap traffic almost hits him. That was close between him and Kerr. So Carter gets a little bit more breathing room once again. Oh, but Carter, lapped riders getting in his way, just holding him up, just completely blocking his line. That's a 284. Who has not yet moved out of the way, is still not moved out of the way, is going right into the main line, and is still not moving. The 284 being a horrendous lapped rider right now, and allows Johnson to close up here. Johnson doubles down, and Carter pulls alongside, cuts across the lapped rider. I think was trying to put him down. The lapped rider whips in the face of Johnson, almost puts Johnson down. Terrible job there as Johnson to the outside, takes the lead, and he whips down the bottom of the hill, taking it over. Carter to the outside, lapped rider in the way, but Carter gets the spot back. That's Zoe Cross, and Johnson goes down. Johnson hits the deck. He blew the rut himself. That was no fault of anybody else's but his own. And Carter now has the gap to himself. Johnson pushing for it momentarily took the lead, coughed it immediately back up, and then crashed by himself, giving it over to Braden Carter. So in the end, Johnson no doubt will be kicking himself, but he can't be too disappointed because in the end he's only going to lose 1 point to Carter and Eagland on the day. Unbelievable end to this moto here at Ironman. An unbelievable ending to this day, which is going to be won in the end by Braden Carter. As bleak as it looked in the first moto, what a turnaround in this second moto. He's going to come down, and Braden Carter not only is going to win the second moto in Ironman, Braden Carter is going to win the Ironman National. Johnson went down again, and Eagland has closed well up on him. One turn to go. If Eagland gets this fairly close, you never know with cuts, but through the final corner, Johnson to the flag, comes across 14 seconds down. Eagland went down in the final corner. That'll probably cost his chances of getting around Johnson on cuts. He comes across in third. Tanner Rogers down here. He will probably pick up fourth. Luke Sullivan in fifth. Oh, Lang getting all kinds of sideways in sixth. Got to be careful not to lose another position here, though. That is a lapped rider, the 761 of Mudge, by the looks of it there. But Hubbard's still trying to close up. Either way, Tanner Rogers breaks up the party. It's not going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4 effort for our championship rivals in in both motos, I should say, today. Rogers is going to break that spell this time around. He is going to pick up fourth. A great ride for the Canadian. Luke Sullivan goes down in the final corner, but Lang is not going to be close enough. So Sullivan just picks it up, and the 284, who was the worst lapped rider I've seen all year long, now just sits in the final corner, and I think he just got kicked. Let's see. Nope. No, he's just sitting in the line, and he looks like he finally disconnected. Hubbard comes through. He is going to pick up seventh in this one. Donovan looks like he's got eighth locked up. Yeah, it's a lapped rider he's fighting with. Frank Jackson trying to hold off ninth. Here comes Cooper Hunt. Cooper Hunt peeks down the inside, trying to get up alongside Frank Jackson. To the outside, this could be a line. No, it's going to be Jackson, and Cooper Hunt goes down. Phil Bull gets around him. And Zoe Cross, first man a lap down in 12th, 13th for Tyler Bartlett, 14th for Kapacuti, 15th for Seth Garrett, 16th was Nathan Guy, 17th for Daniel Irvine, 18th for Trevor Spencer, 19th was Dominic Tiberino, and 20th was Hunter Braun. That lapped rider, by the way, who was atrocious in this entire process, was 284 of JT George. He was in 30th and ended up disconnecting there at the end anyway. Cuts are in. Nothing changed. Wow. So yeah, actually, if Eagland had gotten close, Johnson had 1.6 seconds of cuts. It ended up being a 5-second gap in the end, but if Eagland stayed close, that might have come down to it. Either way, Braden Carter wins the overall here at the Ironman National in the 250 class. Crazy, crazy night here in the 250 division. And as it stands, the point standings are as follows. Carter gains 1 point, so he is now going to be 11 points down in the championship. Eagland also gains 1 point. He will be 9 points behind in the championship. They moved up to second and third respectively, whereas Lang, who ends up sixth in this moto, loses 7 points in this second moto, and he will now be 13 points down the championship. So 13 points separate our top four in the title fight heading into the finale next week. Crazy stuff. no question about it. But we're going to head to a very quick intermission, be back on the other side of this break with the 450 action here at Ironman. You're watching the 2020 Ride365.com Nationals live here on Start Your Systems. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round number 10 of the 2020 Ride365.com Nationals, live here on Start Your Systems. Of course, my name is Kellen Brauer. We are bringing you guys the Ironman National tonight. Of course, if you've already been here, you know that because you just watched the 250 class action happen. Now we're heading into the 450 class, and potentially a championship is about to be clinched tonight in this 450 class. Could even be wrapped up early, one round so, before we head into the finale next week. Let's take a look at those qualifying times, though, that were ran earlier today. Alexis Leclerc, fastest qualifier on a 1:47.4, just beating out Jaden Wilson and Adam Holm, who were both on 1:47.7s. Chase Sell and Austin Eklund inside of the top 5. Jack Haley was 6th. So we go down the order, looks like 46 people ran laps, so we're going to be probably on the cusp of running a consolation race here. Eduardo Simo's first man out behind Jeff Cooper, but we'll definitely see whether or not we have a consi. But here's the storyline with the championship, though. Alexis Leclerc on 411 points to Jack Haley's 370. Adam Holm is almost mathematically eliminated. Pretty much needs to drastically outscore Leclerc down the stretch to have a chance at the title. So looking at just Leclerc and Haley, if Leclerc can leave here with 9 points more than Haley on the day, he is your 2020 Ride365.com National Champion. So that is the storyline here with the 450 class, and we're going to jump into the server and take a look at whether or not we have a consolation race on hand, or are we just heading right into the motos like we did with the 250 class. I think we'll probably have a consi here, just judging by how many people ran laps. They let one guy into the motos in the 250 division, so that a 41-man gate, because I guess they had 41 people there. You don't want to have a 5-man consi, kind of silly, but I think we'll probably have somewhere in the range of 8 people in this consi. Can't really have 4 people on the back row. I guess you could, but clearly, as we just saw in this 250 division, you end up having lappers out there that probably shouldn't be out there. So, yeah. So as we get loaded into the server, what do y'all think? Can Alexis Leclerc clinch this championship here tonight, or does Jack Haley have something to say about it? What do you guys think? King Rider asks, have you heard anything about the LCQ Studios game lately? I haven't heard much, other than that I know that they're still developing it. I've seen a couple videos pop up here and there of some of the things that they're still working on, but it's a small indie studio. It's going to take a while to get the game out. I don't think it's going to come overnight. It's a big process to obviously make a game of that caliber. So I'm sure at some point they'll get it kind of all wrapped up, but nothing on the front just yet. All right, we already got one vote in chat. Leclerc is going to win it in 3-peat tonight. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Colby Flood wants to know who else races or rides dirt bikes. This guy right here does those things. Rylan M wants me to do a track review on 2013 Minneapolis SX. Sure, I guess I could. It's a pretty old track in this game at this point. It was made by JLV, so it's a really small track. Doesn't really suit the 450s in this game very well, so maybe I'd ride a 250. But the traction is also super slippery because it's a JLV track. Brendan Kennedy believes Jack Haley is going to get in the mix here tonight and spoil the early party for Leclerc, who is trying to clinch not only the World Championship around early, but the National Championship around early. Quite the feat Leclerc trying to get accomplished this year after a pretty abysmal Supercross season. I think he would even say the same. Not ideal from his perspective at all. Oh, looks like we do not have a consi here tonight, interestingly enough. So just like in the 250 class, no consolation race out here tonight, people. Jeremy Siebel riding a two-stroke. All right, folks. Time to get revved up. If you haven't already, I'd like to invite you to grab your favorite beverage, a snack or two, sit back, strap in, and enjoy 30 minutes plus 2 laps live here on Start Your Systems. The real question we're about to find out right now, though, is who is going to pick up that Studio 8 Whole Shot Award. Down the far inside, Adam Holm, Alexis Leclerc, Jack Haley, all alongside each other. Daniel Mills down the inside of them. Magnetti, Eklund, all in there. DeSalle. Here we go. It's time to go racing in the 450 class from Ironman. Gate is down. That land rush into the first corner. Holm and Haley trying to push it in deep out of the first turn, and Haley stood it up. It's going to be, I think maybe Leclerc got the Studio 8 Whole Shot Award. It was very close between he and Holm, but Leclerc immediately shoots to the lead, and off he goes. Remember, if he can outscore Haley by 9 points or more today, he is your 2020 RideThrough65.com national champion, and a perfect way to start this one for him as he gets out front early and leads him up the Godzilla jump on the first lap. It's Adam Holman second. Daniel Mills is in third. We got Caleb Hall getting hit from behind by Jaden Wilson. Hall stays up. Wilson has to pick himself up off the ground as everybody kind of funnels up the inside of that grouping. We got Jet Wisdom in here. The 43 is Kyle Carpenter. Luke Magnetti on the 107. Chase Blakely on the 21 is also mixed in here. They're all giving chase right there to Mills. Dropping back down the hill. Look at Mills already putting some pressure on Adam Holm up ahead of him for second. Drag race up the hill, and then I'd imagine we're going to see these 450 guys. A couple of them probably try to triple-double through those rollers right there. Definitely have the grunt and the power to get that first triple. It's just about not being in traffic, I believe. Mills swings around the outside. Adam Holm might be losing second place here. Daniel Mills is looking feisty early on. 31 machine down the inside, and Holm goes down. Holm does not fall off the bike there, but he does lose the position and a good chunk of time as well. So Mills up into second. Chase Blakely now third. His teammate Magnetti is fourth. And Wisdom up inside of the top 5 as Adam Holm crosses the line in sixth. St. Laurent seventh. It's Wilson in eighth. Siebold on the two-stroke in ninth. Eklund rounds out our top 10. We got Cole Gress, Billy Kunitz, Peter Like up here, Jeff Cooper, Kyle Carpenter, Cale Braden, Logan Leitzel, Devin Davis, then Jack Haley coming through. So Haley well down the order, and it doesn't matter the 9-point swing after the first moto because there's still 75 points on the table. So Haley cannot mathematically be eliminated from the title on in this moto alone, but could put himself in a huge deficit that he cannot overcome in the second moto. Just needs to keep it within those 9 points on the day of Leclerc, and all is gravy from his end. Except for the problem is right now Leclerc is out front, and Haley buried down the field, but Leclerc opening that gap up already. As Holm went down, Mills moved up into second, and Leclerc has already stretched out a 4-second lead on Daniel Mills, not even 2 laps in the books here at Ironman. And the Frenchman on the Rockstar Husqvarna looking really strong here. Look at, there it is, that triple, and then doesn't quite get the double. He kind of cased the triple, but I think we're going to see some guys trying to air that thing out. Oh, look at that, even kind of bunny hops into that roller. You think Alexis Leclerc isn't feeling the flow here tonight at Ironman? Dude, it looks on it right now. So back here in second, it is Mills and Blakely coming through in third. His teammate Magnetti's right there in fourth, and Magnetti on the 107 BPC ride going to have himself a very low national number next year. He has been outstanding down the stretch here in this Ride365.com National Championship. Consistently finding himself up inside of the top 5, battling for podiums even of late. Now putting the pressure on Chase Blakely just up the road of him. Teammates, another day at the practice track for these guys as they run 3rd and 4th. I think ideally they'd like to kind of get together and do a little bit of a freight train up to Daniel Mills ahead of them, if at all possible. Gap out front continuing to extend. This might be one of those motos that Leclerc gets the start, gets the early lead, and he is absolutely gone by the midpoint. Seen it many times before. Oh, Magnetti tucks the front wheel right there. Here comes Holm. Holm is going to go through as Magnetti has to hop over some of the ruts. Further back, Eklund tucks the front wheel in the same corner, so Wisdom goes through. There goes the 63 of Kunitz. And the 86 of St. Laurent coming in as Peter Leicht on the 83 finds his way into the mix. Cale Braden here with Jeremy Siebold and Devin Davis on the 30. The number 2 of Haley coming through. Triley's in the air off the table. Haley was trying to think about an inside move there, but backed out of it. Kind of worked out, though, because Davis overshot the corner, so Haley actually almost got the pass done, but Davis got back to the inside of the corner there. All the while, Siebold's getting all kinds out of shape ahead of these guys. There's the triple. Siebold even on the 2-stroke ahead of these guys is doing it. Cale Braden jumped off the track. Now everybody's hitting this triple at the same time. Davis elects to roll it and get the power back down to the ground. Look at all these guys so close together here. Still bar to bar, Braden and Haley. Haley tucks to the inside. Davis follows. We got a rider down. It was Eklund on the 37. And Haley now going to the outside of Siebold. Davis pretty much just following Haley at this point. Good idea, though, because his lines are tremendous, and he makes the pass work on Siebold there. So Haley going to try to set sail after Peter Leicht ahead of him. And the number 2 machine has now made his way up inside of the top 10. Siebold just trying to keep tabs on him. Looks like Siebold has also left the Rockstar Husqvarna team and is now on the Atom Nikita Dragon fan club team. So officially that is the atom.com team, I suppose. Oh, Kunitz down at the top of the hill. So there goes Jet Wisdom. And let's see how many of this train goes by him. He's going to get up. There goes St. Laurent. Here comes Peter Leicht. And just behind him is Haley. And down the hill is Siebold. Haley will get Kunitz, I think. Yeah, and Siebold will too, because Kunitz trying to force the issue on Haley and stacked it into the corner. And now Davis trying to make the pass on Kunitz as well. He goes to the middle. 3 different lines in that corner. They come out still 3 by 3 over the jump. And Davis has to concede back. Siebold goes a little bit long on the table. Kunitz trying to shoot down the inside. Doesn't back out of the challenge. Bumps Siebold to the outside. Gets the spot back. And Davis is just like, what is going on in front of me right now? These guys are absolutely frantically going for it right now. There's Kunitz jumping that triple, though. Definitely a time saver. Look at how close these guys all are still. You have 5 riders, 6 riders in the air off this jump at the same time. Kunitz from off track comes back on, tries to get alongside the 86 of St. Laurent. Jet Wisdom trying to hold these guys behind as Haley pulls away from the group out front, and it's still just so close together right here. Oh, and then Kunitz gets into St. Laurent and puts him down. So that's Wisdom, Siebold, Davis, Leicht, Cale Braden, Ethan Gerst, all going by. Finally, St. Laurent gets up. He's still alongside of Kunitz. And then the 47 of Hunter Porch comes into the picture as well with Eklund on the 37. Just behind them, and Kunitz gets into the side of Porch and goes down. Porch has the worst end of the deal there as he falls off the bike. And now Kunitz is off the bike as well. But Porch goes flipping off the side of the track, so it'll be a little bit there before he gets stood back up. And man, oh man, that battle was crazy. Still kind of going up here. These guys kind of nose to tail. Siebold lays it down. There goes Leicht. There goes Cale Braden. And there goes Ethan Gerst before Siebold gets going just ahead of St. Laurent. Yeah, this battle's still going. Cale Braden now right up on Peter Leicht on the 83 up at the top of the hill. To the outside goes Ethan Gerst. Different line I haven't seen many people try, but it seems like it nearly worked for him jumping down the hill. So it's like Braden Siebold now getting around Gerst. Gerst comes across the track in front of St. Laurent, almost puts him down. Big whips off the race tech table in the center of the track. Peter Like blows the rut. There goes Braden down the inside. Like has to concede. And down was Devin Davis, I think? Yeah, whoa. Devin Davis getting up backwards and sideways allows Eklund to go through last. So now Gerst almost jumps onto the back wheel there of St. Laurent. We got another rider down, perhaps on the triple, on the backside of this triple. Who's down? I actually didn't see. The yellow flags were waving, though, so somebody must have either disconnected there or was down. Siebel, Like, St. Laurent, Eklund going down in the background. Gerst swings to the outside. Davis trying to cut back up underneath of him on the 30 back there. And it looks like Siebold is finally ridding himself of this group a little bit, trying to go with wisdom. Here is Haley, who I believe has crawled up to 7th now, I believe. No, he is up to 6th, and he's 27 seconds off the lead. Magnetti is still in 5th. Holm is in 4th. Blakely is in 3rd. Mills in 2nd, and Leclerc continues to lead. So as it is right now with Haley currently down in the 6th spot, that is a 10-point gain in this moto alone for Alexis Leclerc. The gap would be out to 51 points provisionally speaking if it were to end this way, which of course puts Leclerc in a fabulous position to wrap up this title here early tonight. Adam Holm will be mathematically eliminated from championship contention as they run as well. Magnetti at some point got around his teammate Blakely. We did not see how that pass happened, but they're still pretty close together, so it seems as though the pass did happen on track and not a fall of any kind. And then Haley comes through behind these guys. Is he up to 5th now? No, he's still 6th. Okay. And this battle continues. Wisdom with Siebold trying to close up. Let's go on board with Siebold for a second. Just listen to what it sounds like to try to rip a two-stroke around this track here. Siebold makes the pass on Wisdom and runs a 51.9. Incredible stuff there for the newly crowned Supercross champion. St. Laurent, Gerst dropping into frame behind them. Then it's Like, Eklund, Cale Braden, Devin Davis, and the 47 of Porch. In a bit of a battle here. Braden and Davis get together and go down, and they're both... Well, Braden did not fall off the bike. There goes the sell by. And Caleb Hall also goes through. Dennis Fjellberg not quite going to get to Devin Davis before he gets going. Then we got Ethan Gerst ahead of Jason Stubbs. I think we're down at about 16th now, 17th. No, I'm sorry, 20th. So Jason Stubbs is in the final points paying position. Trying to run down Ethan Parks. Then we got Fjellberg up here, Devin Davis, Caleb Hall, Cale Braden. That is Bobby DeSalle, who did not put his correct name in again. Hunter Porch, Austin Eklund, Peter Like, Ethan Gerst. St. Laurent trying to catch up to Jet Wisdom. Siebold now all alone, trying to trail up to Jack Haley. Chase Blakely. Oh, Magnetti's got around Holm. Magnetti moving up to the 3 spot. Adam Holm trying to respond here on the 17. Slowly creeping up to the halfway part of this moto, and Luke Magnetti just getting stronger as the moto goes on, it seems. So here is Daniel Mills. He is still holding on to a strong second. He's 13 seconds back of Leclerc. That is no mean feat whatsoever. Leclerc has been running consistent lap times out front. 48.4 his best. He's done a 50.8 as well. And we'll stick on board with him here for a little bit and see what kind of lines he's taking and the lap times he's still putting down as he's, woo Nelly, he is about to catch a pretty epic group of lap riders. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 riders in a train right in front of him. Gonna hit the first 2 lappers right here in just a moment's time as he drops down. He does this double. Man, carrying so much speed through there. His suspension just looks so much more tuned for rough stuff than the rest of the field. Maybe just his riding style and how he attacks stuff, hitting stuff in those higher gears. Not 100% sure what it is, but Leclerc just smooth as butter. That looks to be Copeland, I believe he's trying to make a pass on. Again, lapped riders, so this is what it's like on board, trying to work your way around lapped riders. There's a downed rider there. Here's Kyle Carpenter. Looks like the rider who was on the inside there also had to jump past the downed riders, so he lost some time. Leclerc went around him. Leclerc to the outside. And another rider having a big moment back there. Forget that you can't switch to lappers. Didn't see who that was. Oh, there's Leclerc jumping that triple. Doesn't like to kind of rut hop the double though. Just carrying momentum. And that was him going through a bulk of that lap traffic right there. Oh, Mills down out of second. And gets going. He is still in second, but lost a lot of ground to that Magnetti Holm battle coming from behind in third. Through these rollers at the top of the hill and dropping in under the bridge. Luke Magnetti trying to keep Adam Holm behind him. Yellow flags are waving, but I think when they're doing that glitchy wave thing, it's because they're waving the yellow flag for somebody who is disconnected in that section. Not 100% sure on that, but here comes Adam Holm trying to peer back down the inside of Magnetti. He's got a great drive here through the inside. Almost alongside, but he's going to have to concede here. Or does he? No, he tries to go to the same line, and that is not exactly going to work. Loses a little bit of time because he can't double in there. So Magnetti dropping down. Adam Holm still giving chase. Down by the mechanics area. Another lap in the books for these guys as they are trying to reel in Daniel Mills ahead of them. All while they battle between each other. Magnetti hopping out, Holm doing the same. This is a good battle, actually, really, because Magnetti crawled his way forward to get to Holm and made the pass, and then Holm seems like he has responded well to the pressure, and now Holm back alongside might get that pass back on the 107 machine. Magnetti peers down the inside here and tries to get Holm back. He's going to be at least alongside of him. Tries the outside to inside combo here. Far inside that is, and still is almost alongside of him. Off the race tech table, and Holm finally gets that pass done. So Magnetti settles in behind Holm. Carry that momentum up the hill here. Drop back in. It's like Holm starting to open up a small gap, getting a little bit of that breathing room now. Let's see, up to D-Mills, not too far of a gap. Lap traffic splitting them. There's Jaden Wilson pulling off the side of the track. Rough day for the 720 so far, who was your second fastest qualifier, already being lapped in this moto. Holm riding the rear wheel. I'll tell you what, Magnetti is not going down without a fight. And he's found some good lines, too. I like some of the lines that he's taken. They're not those main, deep lines. He's kind of hooking off of some of the smaller ruts that haven't fully developed yet. Obviously taking some of the main lines through here, but some of the other corners, like here, look at this. Middle line. Doesn't go to that inside deep one. Oh, but he slides out. And Holm has a bit of breathing room now behind him. That's not that much, though. Magnetti quickly recovering from that little mistake. Up to the top of the hill. Holm and Magnetti continue their fight. Well, not much is changing between those guys, so let's go ahead and do a quick top 20 rundown. We're almost 20 minutes into the moto, so we want to give some love to everybody else throughout the field a little bit here. And this top 20 rundown is brought to you by the folks at MXS Lobby, who is a sponsor here at Race Factor Gaming the first time this year. But MXS Lobby is a great place to host your own servers, have your own race series, or join one of the many series that are hosted through MXS Lobby and do some racing there. As far as I know, every series that is ran over there is for free, but at least a lot of them are, and it's a good place to kind of get your feet wet in some online organized activity in MX Simulator. So head over to MXS Lobby today, check out some of the racing that they have, or join, get a server yourself and join the many people that own a server and host races through those servers each week and or each month. So Alexis Leclerc leads on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna #1 machine, looking to three-peat the outdoors here tonight, only to become the second rider ever in MX Simulator history to do that. Daniel Mills in second right now in the Jack Daniels Racing #31. He crashed, but he still holds that spot over Adam Holm on the atom.com #17. Up to fourth now is Jack Haley on the Jack Daniels Racing #2, so good job salvage here. Haley, he is going to lose 7 points to Leclerc in this moto. Remember, if he loses 9 or more points on the day, Leclerc wins the championship, clinches it around early. As it stands right now, if Haley were to finish fourth in this moto, Leclerc controls his own destiny. If he just wins the second moto, he is your champion. But Haley runs fourth right now. Luke Magnetti on the BPC #107. He has dropped back into fifth. Sixth is Jeremy Siebold on the ATOM Nikita Dragon Fan Club Yamaha #19. Seventh for Chase Blakely on the BPC #21 Husqvarna. Eighth for William St. Laurent on the Mad Cape #86. Ninth is Bobby DeSalle on the Rival Decal Glizzy #341. And 10th right now is Jet Wisdom on the MXLocker.com #403. 11th for Austin Eklund on the Odyssey MX #37. 12th for Ethan Gerst on this Privateer Effort #260. 13th for Devin Davis on the SwapMotoLive.com #30. 14th for Dennis Fjellberg on the MV Films #3. 15th is Caleb Hall on the Privateer Effort. I always forget his number because I never seem to have his skins. I think it's 47 or so? 41 maybe? 17th for Jeremy Cohenauer on the MV Films #13. 18th was Caleb Braden on the Elevated Motorsports #233. 19th for Billy Kunitz on the Rival Decal #63. And 20th is Hunter Porch on the MV Films #47, about to go a lap down. I'm sorry, he's 19th, so 20th is Braden Castaneda, who is a lap down on the Nova GFX #221. So Leclerc already fighting his way through some lapped riders in the points, has already put Castaneda a lap down and just lapped Hunter Porch, who is in 19th. Leclerc on a different level tonight. Oh, dualies! Billy Kunitz and Devin Davis absolutely tossing the salads out there and then tossing each other off the track as Davis and Kunitz both go down. So I don't know if the dualies were kind of on purpose or they were just trying to out-scrub each other, and then they got into a bit of a match there in the corner. I don't know. I think Devin Davis may have just brake-checked Billy Kunitz too, as Braden Castaneda now fights Devin Davis for that position. I think it's 19th they're battling for. Caleb Braden still working on Jeremy Cohenauer. Got Caleb Hall up here kind of by himself. Dennis Fjellberg, Jet Wisdom, Ethan Gerst, William St. Laurent, Austin Eklund, DeSalle, Blakely, Magnetti, Seabolt now ahead of Magnetti. He's up inside the top 5 on a 2-stroke. And Haley is reeling in Adam Holm for 3rd. So Jack Haley, I guess he just doesn't want Leclerc to clinch this title early. Trying to spoil the party a little bit here is the number 2. Coming up and trying to pass Adam Holm for 3rd limits the damage. This moto would only lose 5 points. And remember, if he loses less than 9 points on the day, he keeps that title fight alive to the finale next week. So Holm, I think, is just going to try to fight for his position here at all costs. I don't think he's really that worried about championship scenarios on either side. He's about to be eliminated from the championship himself. And he's, at this point, pretty much too far down of Haley to hope for getting him. But Haley goes down. And Haley does not lose a spot yet. Seabolt just got there. So he's about 2 seconds back of Haley now as Haley scrubs his way up the hill. Then Holm comes down the hill on the other side. Giving chase to Daniel Mills as 87. I think that's Caden Speck. Mills tries to go to the outside. Speck is just being a bit of a roadblock here, though. Inside move. And Mills has got it. Adam Holm trying to close up on Mills, and Haley has Seabolt still close behind him. Magnetti, Blakely, there's a battle here between Bobby DeSalle and William St. Laurent and Ethan Gerst. Ethan Gerst putting in some really great rides down the stretch here on the 260. If you're a team out there right now, there's a hot commodity of a privateer and Ethan Gerst out there for you to potentially pick up. He is putting in some great rides and is going to try to get around Bobby DeSalle here, as he will. DeSalle not able to get the jump. So St. Laurent trying to keep Gerst behind him, then DeSalle coming through. Eklund charging forward again on the Odyssey MX number 37. Eklund, a guy who definitely has top 5 speed. Unfortunately for him, did not get off on the right foot in this one with an early crash and has been kind of fighting his way up from that one pretty much the entire time. Time winding down here, though. Only about 2.5 minutes and 2 laps remain in this one, so it's kind of coming down to some last-ditch efforts for these guys to make something happen. Oh, man. DeSalle getting a little kicked out there. Nice scrub there for DeSalle, trying to charge up on Ethan Gerst. A little sideways there. Tries this outside option on Gerst. Actually works out pretty well, almost alongside of him. Kind of dualies jumping down the hill. Cell trying to shoot down the inside, but he's going to have to hit this anthill on the inside, and it just takes up so much time to get through it. And a little slide out on corner exit, so Gerst gets away and continues to try to chase down William St. Laurent ahead of them, then Blakely, Magnetti, Seabolt, Haley, Holm, Mills, and Leclerc. Leclerc looking at probably just 3 laps to go. Yeah, 3 laps to go, I think. I don't know, actually. This is probably going to be pretty close now that I think about it. He's got a minute to get to the flag. Let's stick on board with him and see whether or not he does make it in time. So Leclerc, 33-second lead. We're about to see whether or not he gets an extra lap to extend that lead. 40 seconds to the mark. Yeah, this is going to be really dang close of getting to the flag or not. 30 seconds. He's got to get down the back straightaway here and do 2 more corners. He probably won't get there, actually, now that I think about it. That back straightaway takes a lot longer than I thought. 20 seconds to the mark. Man, it's going to be close. 10 seconds now to the mark. So let's let the cameras tell the tale, because if he crosses before 30, the cameras will switch, but there's a lapped rider in the way. Oh my God, it was exactly at 30 that the camera switched. I don't think you could be any more on the dot than that. But when the camera switched is when he actually crossed the line, because that's when the timing gate updates. In this game, it's kind of weird. We're actually watching what is happening about a second or so delayed, just because of the way it kind of checks up everything when you're in warm-up mode. But right now, Leclerc is probably about a second ahead of where we're actually watching him. It's just that in the server, it looks like he's a little bit further back. So he actually hit the flag, I don't know, about dead on. It's going to be close to whether it gave it to him or not. I remember there's actually a time I raced a French I think it was an EMF French Cup race back in 2013. And the leader of the race, who was French, I believe, hit the timing and scoring mark like dead on, like right on the mark. And there's a bunch of Brazilians in the server who were lagging like really bad. So on their screen, they showed that he didn't hit the mark. And there was an extra lap to the race, but on all of our screens, he did hit the mark, and he finished the race and pulled off to the side of the track, and all the Brazilians did an extra lap, and timing and scoring was so messed up that for that one race that it showed like 4 of the Brazilians having gone 1, 2, 3, 4, and they just couldn't believe that they were not going to be scored in those positions because everybody had pulled over after the finish line jump, and we're like, bro, your timing and scoring is messed up, not ours. And they were like, nah, your guys is not ours. And it's like, that doesn't make any sense. There's 4 of you and 36 of us. But just curious to see if that could ever happen again, or if JLV has fixed that. Either way, let's see. It was just before time expired, because now the 2-lap board just came out for Leclerc. So 2 to go. Mills still ahead of Holm. Haley up here in 4th. Seabolt is 5th. Magnetti is 6th. Blakely is 7th. St. Laurent is 8th. Cell in 9th. And Gerst right now rounds out our top 10. Eklund is 11th. Fjellberg is 12th. 13th for Jet Wisdom. 14th right now for Devin Davis. 15th is Caleb Hall. 16th for Kyle Carpenter. 17th for Caden Speck. 18th is Braden Castelletta. 19th is Jeremy Cohenauer. And Ethan Parks rounds out our final points paying position. Heading up and over the flag. Cohenauer trying to close up on Castelletta. Gaps are huge, though. Where has Leclerc lapped up to? Let's see. On board with these people. So Leclerc potentially going to lap 11th in this race. Austin Eklund. We'll stick on board with Eklund here for a minute because he's going to see that blue bar. So blue flags in this game is this blue bar that appears across the bottom of your screen, and essentially gives you an indication on what the number of the rider is that's going to try to lap you and how many seconds behind you that rider is. So as Leclerc reels in Eklund here very slowly, you're going to see that blue bar appear on the bottom of our screen in just a second. Coming into this corner, there it is. So when it gets to less than 2.5 seconds, it appears and it says number 1, and then in parentheses how much time behind you he is. Well, Eklund is going to go off the track anyway, so Leclerc is just going to scoot on by. There goes your race leader. P11 now a lap down. P10 only about 3 seconds up the road as the white flag waves for Leclerc out front. And 10th, Gerst. Oh, are you serious? He didn't go down. What is that? Oh my gosh. As a former racer in this game, that bugs me to no end because 99,000 times out of 99,001 you will crash right there. But Gerst somehow stayed on 2 wheels, but he's been lapped by Leclerc anyway, so P10 is 1 lap down in this race. Crazy. And here's DeSalle battling with St. Laurent. If they get together, they're going to go a lap down as well. Oh man, almost contact there. DeSalle passes St. Laurent. St. Laurent trying to shoot back up the inside, gets a little off kilter there, and he's still getting sideways. DeSalle is all out of shape too. A little short on the table, but there is St. Laurent coming in behind. Blakely, Magnetti, Siebold, Haley, Holm. Holm has just kept Mills in his sights for so long, and Mills has just not even faltered a bit to the pressure. Really good stuff out of Daniel Mills, and it looks like actually Adam Holm. No, never mind. The timing and scoring was messed up there for a second, but here is Leclerc down the back straightaway one more time. Not going to wrap up the title here, but he will mathematically eliminate Adam Holm, who is 3rd in the championship, from contending for this 2020 outdoor title, and just leave himself and the number 2 machine of Jack Haley still alive for the title with 3 motos left to go in this championship, but very well likely he might wrap it up around early here tonight if he can win the 2nd moto again, make it 2 on the trot. Magnificent stuff for Leclerc as he brings it down through the final corner, and the Frenchman on the 1 wins moto number 1 here at Ironman. Daniel Mills still trying to keep Adam Holm at bay. Holm giving it one last try here to close up, but he's just going to miss the mark here. Mills has rode a fantastic race to hold on to 2nd for this long, and he's going to reap the benefits of it by actually finishing 2nd place. Holm cuts the track in the final corner, so he will get more cuts for that. 1.5 seconds down at the end. Jack Haley, he'll end up 4th, but he loses 7 points, in this Moto 2 Leclerc, so provisionally speaking, he is 48 points down the championship. If Leclerc wins the 2nd Moto, he wins the championship no matter what happens behind him. Siebold trying to weave through some lap traffic. He will come home in the 5 spot. Luke Magnetti looks like he's got 6th all but wrapped up. 7th will be Chase Blakely. DeSalle holding down 8th, and St. Laurent is 9th, so a lap down in P10 was Austin Eklund. Dennis Fjellberg was 11th, 12th for Ethan Gerst, 13th for Jet Wisdom, 14th for Caden Speck, 15th was Devin Davis, 16th for Caleb Hall, 17th was Ethan Parks, 18th for Jeremy Cohenauer, 19th for Kyle Carpenter, and 20th was Braden Castellaneta. As we wait for those cuts to come in, we are still waiting on DeSalle and St. Laurent to bring it home. So as DeSalle goes through the final corner, unless he crashes here, he's going to bring it home in 8th, go back to 20th and wait for those cuts to come in and take a look if anything changed. As coming across in 9th is St. Laurent. And yeah, okay, so wow. Looks like Kyle Carpenter jumps 2 spots to 17th. He got around Cohenauer and Ethan Parks for those positions. And Caden Speck leapfrogs Jet Wisdom for 13th on cuts. And everything else stayed the same. Leclerc confirmed Moto number 1 winner here at Ironman. All right, well, Little intermission here, a bit of a 5-minute break in the action at Ironman, but we are not going off the air. If you guys would like to ask myself, Kellen Brauer, in the booth a question, whether it be about the game or anything that's on your mind, I'm happy to do so right now. This is my opportunity to interact with the chat. I know you guys are always saying I don't interact with the chat enough. Well, I try in between the races to chat with you guys. Sometimes it's just a little bit tough to break away from the racing and chit chat with you guys then, so be sure to ask the questions now. Sund Racing wants to know, do I happen to know where Walter Gebhardt is? I do not happen to know where Walter Gebhardt is at all. Not sure where the number 5 machine is tonight. Unfortunate, because he could have definitely been a bit of a factor here tonight, I think, but no Gebhardt on hand here, and really not sure why. All right. Gucci111 wants to know, hey, Kellen, has RF ever hosted a Loretta Lynn's Amateur National Championship? Yes, they did in 2012, 13, 14, and 17, I think was the last year they hosted one. Maybe 18 now that I think about it. But they did not host one this year to my knowledge. Somebody did, I think, host one. I think Brady White did, but I don't know if it was through RF. I need to host Loretta Lynn's. It's so bad. Well, first of all, I don't need to host anything because I'm not a good host. I don't know scripting anymore. I haven't hosted a sim race in 7 years, so I definitely am not the right person to call about that, unfortunately for you guys. The Reed34 says, is Seabolt still on the Rockstar Husky, or is he team hopping? I guess he's team hopping. He's now on Atom's team for the final 2 rounds. He's riding a 2-stroke, so he's not really on the team, so to speak. Like, he's just riding his own bike, but he's listing himself on Atom's team. I don't know if that's a joke or if it's real. But yeah, I guess not on Rockstar Husky now. Oh, he got kicked from Rockstar, so Seabolt jumps in here and offers his side of the story. So he got kicked from Rockstar and elected to ride a 2-stroke for these last 2 rounds. Cool beans. Breckamaniac having a rough day, but he's happy I get to watch the stream. Hey man, I am sorry you're having a rough day, but every day is a new day. The sun's going to rise tomorrow. You're going to wake up. Hopefully you'll have a smile on your face wherever you are, and things will be better tomorrow. But I appreciate, or I guess I'm glad I should say, that I can help, bring a little bit of cheer to the end of your day with these broadcasts. I always hope that that's the sort of portrayal I get for most of you guys, that at the end of the day, you come in here, grab some beverages or some snacks and hang out with your buddies, chat it up in chat, and watch some great MX Simulator action. And I just hope you enjoy it. So I'm really happy to hear that you're having a little better end to your day there, Brecca. Let's see, who else is asking questions? Maverick Woik? Sorry if I said your name wrong. Maverick says, hey Kellen, I just want to let you know your channel is amazing and I'm a pretty good friend with Kyle, and I'd like to thank you for help with railing, I guess you would meant to say instead of railer. Yeah, thanks. Well, thank you for the compliment, first of all. I really appreciate that, and I'm happy to help. I hope that what you're speaking about is my MX Simulator tutorial series that myself and Jeremy Hinters put on back in the day, kind of help you guys out with corner techniques, understanding the leaning aspects of this game, attacking braking bumps, things like that. Really happy to hear when some people come up to me and say, like, dude, your tutorials really helped, because, like, that was the intent. Like, years ago, that's the reason we wanted to do it. So when new players came to the game and were confused about certain techniques or things that they were trying to do, that those were, ways to kind of show you guys how to do it. So glad to hear that for you it seemed to work. Randy Bishop Jr. wants to know, do you know if there will be a FAMMX series this year? Always love them tracks, great beginner tracks. I don't think so, but I don't know for sure. I know Blake Scheinman has been a bit busier this year. I haven't seen Blake much of it all this year, unfortunately. He obviously does that FamMX series, owner of the FamMX graphics company. I don't know. I'm not going to say no because I don't know. So I'm sorry that probably doesn't answer your question, but I really don't know. Terrell Scott wants to know, who do I think is going to win Redbud this weekend? I picked Tomac and Ferrandis to win just because they looked pretty stellar at Ironman, and they both are usually pretty good at Redbud too, so I'll stick with those. But I would like to see some, mixed results at both Redbuds. I don't want to see 1-1-1-1 from, Ferrandis and Tomac both on both days. Be cool to see some other guys get up there and be a bit of some spoilers, if you will. Mason King says, how's the baby? The baby's doing very well. Thank you very much. When I went downstairs, my wife was feeding her, and now they are, I think, getting her ready for bed. So parade lap going out there right now. You're going to see 40 riders charge into turn 1 down below. That's what it looks like overhead to watch them do a start, and nobody made it to that first turn very well. All right, let's see. Cameron Barr says, hey, Kellen, is the $40 for the full game worth it? I believe so, and the reason why is because there's endless content that you can that you can download for this game. There's lots of old skins and bikes that you can get. A lot of the new stuff is paid for, obviously, but the tracks are almost all free. There's like 2 or 3 tracks that were not free, but most of the tracks in the game are free, and there's thousands of tracks. Like, I have not even scratched the surface on my track walk series of all the tracks that are in this game, so I think it's worth it because you can basically, download all the tracks that you want. Mayo315 says, hey, Kellen, can you please explain licensing for video games? Yeah, I'll try to do that really quick. So I saw you guys talking about it a little bit earlier. If Milestone wants the Nationals, they have to get the licensing for the National Championship, all 12 tracks individually, and all however many riders they want to include. And that's expensive. I don't know this for a fact. I would bet you that Ken Roxon asked for somewhere in the area of like $300,000 to $500,000 to be in Supercross 3, and that's why he's not in the game. It costs too much money to put everybody in the game. So because of that, they're already doing GPs, they're already doing Supercross, and MX vs. ATV has a close relationship with MX Sports, so they are not going to break that bond between those two to give it to Milestone instead to do the National Championship. That is where the licensing comes into play, though, because if they wanted to, they could buy them out. They could buy the licensing to do it, but it's not cheap at all. It would be a lot of money to get the licensing to host or to replicate that entire series. And they already have a game that does motocross, so they feel like they're kind of covering up that market in their own. Obviously, like, us people, we think of it as like, man, it'd be cool if they did a Nationals game as well, but that's why they don't. It's expensive to get all those licensing done. So maybe they will do it, but I think right now, probably not. All right, sorry if I didn't get to everybody's questions there at the end, but we are set to go racing here at Ironman. Can Leclerc win the championship? We're finding out right now as the gate is down. A land rush into the first corner. It's a Honda. It's Kohenauer. And will he lead them through? Yes, Jeremy Kohenauer, Studio 8 Holshot Award as he leads them through. Alexis Leclerc right there in second early on. Dennis Fjellberg, the rider out of Norway on the number 3, is in third. And Leclerc already to the inside and to the race lead. Leclerc wasting no time. Again, controls his own destiny. Jack Haley needs to beat Leclerc in this moto, essentially, to keep the championship alive to the final round. Otherwise, Leclerc going 1-1 and winning this second moto here today is going to be the title done and dusted before we even get to those 2 motos next week. So it's Leclerc, Kohenauer, Fjellberg right here, Simos, Holm, Cale Braden, Leitzel, Jason Stubbs, Magnetti's up here. Daniel Mills, remember he was second in the first moto. We got riders getting kind of scattered off the race tech table here. Everybody's stepping up the hill. Oh, contact. Riders down, Magnetti's down, the 8. Oh, what is that? The 808 of Jason Stubbs was down. Daniel Mills got hung up on him. I didn't see if Jack Haley was there, but Mills just went down again. That is going to be a long climb forward. Everybody funneling under the tunnel. Oh, so cool to see all those bikes in the air. Look at how close everybody is down this back straightaway. It's nuts. Oh, Seabolt down. And just look at how many people are about to go by him. Oh, Rogers down as well. Somebody else trying to go over top of him. Eklund hits him as well. Literally a whole freight train of riders going by. Look at, this is just a party going through the rollers through here. And then everybody tries to funnel into that inside line. Jumping down the hill. So one lap in the books as we peek back out to the front. It is Leclerc, and boy, does he have a big lead already. My goodness. Nobody is even in the same picture yet. Are you kidding me? Look at this gap. There's Leclerc. This is one lap in. And here comes Adam Holman second. He's got around Fjellberg, it looks like. Simos is there. Jaden Wilson to the outside of Cale Brayton. So they jump down the hill again. Everybody tucking to the inside there. And then different lines being used through that second corner. You'll see the track wear in. If you're new to Ride365.com National Racing here in MX Simulator, the track resets essentially after each moto. So as rough as you saw it get in the first moto as Jaden Wilson goes down, it basically went back to what it was at the beginning of the first moto in terms of roughness and restarts. That's just because it'd be too labor intensive on computers to carry over each terrain from moto to moto. And you'll notice if you've ever played in a road server before, if you load into the server halfway through a race or something like that, the track looks completely brand new to you, even though to the people in the server it's already been raced on and used up quite a bit. And so the ruts and everything develop very strangely, and that's why saving terrains over is difficult, because when you load into the server you're not seeing the true values of the track. And as such, like, if you really wanted to, what you could do if the terrains did carry over after each moto is you could just back out and start with the track fresh, come back into the server, and the track will be brand spanking new. So I want to stick with this battle back here because this looks like a whole heck of a lot of fun going on here. We got Logan Leitzel, we got Jaden Wilson, Cale Brayton, Braden Castellaneta, Peter Like, Chase Blakely on the 21, Jeremy Seabolt, Jeff Cooper, Devin Davis off the back of him. These guys are all trying to fight up towards the top 10 here early on, and it's just a freight train right now of riders coming through. Ooh, big whip for Blakely trying to get to the inside of Like, and he does it. Seabolt tries to go to the outside. Somebody else is just getting up from a crash. It's the 93 of Ian Holm. Blakely trying to go to the outside of Holm, gonna come across there with a whip in his face. Look at all the guys getting turned on this big table. Oh, riders down. That was Ian Holm. Oh, and then Ian Holm gets landed on by the 43 of Kyle Carpenter, and just everybody funneling through. Davis trying to hop into the mix here as Ohlert goes to the inside. There is Ian Holm now right behind Dylan Copeland. Jack Haley finally finds his way into this mix. He's trying to slice and dice his way past Austin Eklund, and will do so with a nice scrub on the triple. Riders down there. Was that I don't know even who that was. Is Jaden Wilson again? Down with the Yamaha rider. Maybe Seabolt was down in there. Oh, Haley down. He's off the bike. So Ohlert goes by. There goes Ian Holm. And yeah, it was Seabolt that was down. Devin Davis. And there's Caden Speck flipping into your screen on the 87. We got Aaron Rockefeller here in the mix. Kyle Carpenter, the 47 of Hunter Porch. Everybody jockeying for positions back here. Good racing action with the title fight seemingly quickly coming to a close. It's nice to just see all these guys really going after it for positions back here. Siebold trying to work on Jaden Wilson on the 720. Ian Holm just ahead of them on the 93. As they launch heading up the hill towards Godzilla. To the outside, look at that line for Siebold. Might turn into 2 passes for the price of 1. He goes to the inside of Ian Holm, and then this turns into the outside here. Might he get Ohlert too? Look at the drive he's going to get. Tries to split the difference. It was a rider down. It was Blakely, and we got 6 riders in the air off the table at the same time as Siebold's trying to get to the inside of Ohlert here, and he does. Wow, nice job getting stopped there. And then 4 different lines being used in that corner as Davis goes down on corner exit, I think that was. Or was it Wilson maybe? It was Jaden Wilson because Devin Davis is still right here. He's right in front of Peter Like. So Blakely was down, and oh, there goes Siebold down on the 19. Ohlert and Blakely coming into your living room there. Ian Holm dropping in. Then Devin Davis, and who else we got back there? We got Peter Like, Hunter Porch on the 47 coming into the mix. I think Copeland on the 35 is also there. No, there's Copeland on the 35, so it's his teammate Kyle Carpenter on the 43 that's back there. And then Cale Braden off the front of this group with, I believe, Jeff Cooper. Frantic action. These guys are just so gnarly with the battling so early in the race. I mean, we're 8 minutes in and there's still nose to tail back here. I feel like if you're in this battle, you just don't feel like you ever get a breath of fresh air. Just constantly holding your breath. As down in the background goes, I think that was K-Carp going down. No, Carpenter is there, so it must have been Porch on the MV Films Honda hitting the deck. Holm, Davis, there's Peter Like. Billy Kunitz trying to go to the outside of him. That'll turn to the inside, but he backs out of the challenge. Like shoots to the inside as Davis goes to the outside of Ian Holm. He's going to try to out-drag him. He comes across very steadily on the 93. And to the top of the hill, so now Davis around him. He's going to try to go toe-to-toe with Casey Ohlert in front of him. Everybody jumping this big table back down the hill. Lots of different lines. Look at how close this all is still. Ian Holm gets stood up. Kunitz goes to the outside to get him. And Cale Braden just went down. Kunitz almost has a mistake. We got, oh, big cross jump there for Devin Davis on the 35 of Copeland. That nearly came to blows. Davis tries to get back into the line. Almost goes down. Then we got 5 riders coming into the corner together. 3 wide coming on the corner exit as Cale Braden makes a nice pass through the middle, then slides out and almost goes down. He does get into Kyle Carpenter, who hits a SpongeBob. And then Braden comes back up the inside, trying to get on the inside of Peter Like and Jack Haley. They are still 3 wide going under the bridge. That's not going to end well. So Haley backs out of the challenge. Like and Braden nearly come together side by side there. Big scrub. Then carry momentum to the other side. Haley's going to try to go to the outside here, but doesn't quite get the power down that he would like. So swapping lines again. Cale Braden and Peter Like almost coming together. Haley's trying to get through on them and peeking up the road. Copeland's trying to work on Devin Davis. Billy Kunitz looking for a way through on Casey Ohlert, and he does. Blakely was down again, and Davis hits the deck. And we've lost Jack Haley, so he must have went down in that last corner. Yeah, there he is. He's coming down the hill now just behind Hunter Porch as Davis gets going behind Kyle Carpenter. Got Blakely, Like, Copeland, Ohlert. And then now Kunitz goes to work on Eduardo Simos, rider out of Brazil on the GSR LCQ Studios TM. Kunitz trying to size up an inside move here, sends it into the corner. Doesn't quite have an angle just yet on Simos, then kind of messes up the middle rut there. So as they head back up to the center of the circuit, Simos still has the gap on him. Jeff Cooper up ahead of them. Logan Leitzel on his teammate, William St. Laurent. Oh, Leitzel almost lands on his teammate, then slides out. So St. Laurent gets away unscathed. He's going to try to go after Austin Eklund. We got Jeremy Kohenauer, Adam Holm, Luke Magnetti, and Dennis Fjellberg has moved into second, but he's 34 seconds down to the lead, 11 minutes into this moto. Big gaps already being established here. Oh, and down goes Fjellberg. Magnetti hits him. And that's going to be Magnetti up into second. Holm now into third. And Fjellberg drifts back to fourth. So positions continuing to flip-flop a little bit here. Jeremy Kohenauer trying to sneak up on his teammate Fjellberg now. So our top five are fairly, well, 2 through 5, I should say, are fairly close together. Leclerc is absolutely gone at the front of the field, and he's already starting to get into the thick of the lap traffic. In fact, he's only like 3 corners behind what is essentially the bulk of everybody right now. That insane battle still going on back here. It's going up Godzilla right now. Look at this. Hunter Porch, Jack Haley, Peter Leicht, Casey Oehlert, Caleb Hall, Castellaneta, Siebold all locked together here in a freight train, and then there's more riders coming behind them, and this whole group is trying to catch another group ahead of them. Insane. Rider down was Kyle Carpenter, so Siebold's trying to weave through these guys. Castellaneta going to the inside, he's behind Caleb Hall. Peter Leicht alongside of him on the 83. Everybody just jockeying for positions, trying to get at least a little bit of breathing room going on here. This is nuts. As look at how close this is. There's like 5 riders jumping in here. Look at all of them in the air at the same time. 5 in the air off of this big jump after the bridge, and Simo's just got up from a crash. Oh, I thought he was jumping in a like there. He just weaved through everybody. Castellaneta there, and then look at Siebold trying to go through the middle on the 19. 4 wide through the corner. It's still almost 4 wide into the next corner as Carpenter goes to the inside and he clips Siebold. Castellaneta goes to the outside and avoids all that chaos. So that almost came to blows. Leicht is still working on the back of Casey Oehlert. Simos is right behind Caleb Hall. Nose to tail action throughout the field here. And I feel like this constant battling going on is going to make it so Alexis Leclerc is going to get to this group before long as Leicht just lays it down. He now falls behind everybody. Castellaneta, Siebold, and Cale Braden go by. Although Braden just stood it up in the corner, so Leicht just went back through. Reed Young parks Kyle Carpenter on the outside there. I don't even know what spot this is for anymore. This is down in like 18th, 19th. Look at how close these guys all are, though. Siebold just trying to work his way forward. He's trying to get Caleb Hall. Likes this outside line right here. It's a nice one, too, for Siebold. Comes to the inside, but he gets together with Caleb Hall and falls down. Casey Oehlert hops in. Castellaneta goes to the outside. Cale Braden searching for lines back there. This turns into a little 5 battle now. We got Castellaneta, Caleb Hall, Casey Oehlert, Cale Braden, and Kyle Carpenter all in the air together off the table in the center at the same time. This is not going to work out well. 3 riders trying to go to the inside here. Nobody goes to the inside. They all jump to the outside. It's still 5 riders coming down the hill nearly nose to tail, and Oehlert hits Cale Braden on the outside and goes down. Siebold was down again, so he's going to slip back into this group a little bit as Castellaneta goes by. This is just non-stop action back here. Again, 5 riders in the air off of this jump at one time. What is happening back here? This is ridiculous. Daniel Mills now trying to sneak up into the picture back there. See an empty films rider still back there. I think that's Peter Leicht. This isn't even like for points at this point. I think this is, 17th for Siebold, 18th is Braden, 19th Carpenter. And final points paying position right now is Braden Castellaneta ahead of Caleb Hall. Unbelievable, these guys. is absolutely going for it. Now, Seabolt's trying to catch up to Billy Kunitz. He's got Simos ahead of him. And Copeland has got Hunter Porch eyed up. Devin Davis trying to run down Jack Haley ahead of him. Then Jeff Cooper. Chase Blakely right in front of him. Austin Eklund and Logan Leitzel. William St. Laurent is on Jeremy Cohenauer, so the rider on the number 86 out of Canada has reeled in the number 13 and the number 3. This is for a top 5 position. 43-second lead for Leclerc halfway into this moto. I don't even feel like we need to do a top 20 rundown because we just keep going through the field and find all these ridiculous battles going on. Magnetti, and then Holm. Here's Leclerc, though, and if you look at the map, you can see that Leclerc is now starting to get into the thick of this ridiculous battle that's going on. So let's go back to it because it's still going on. Castaneda and Braden throwing dualies. Here's Daniel Mills landing, and now Leclerc catching up to Kyle Carpenter and Peter Leicht. So we just can kind of watch these battles happen as Leclerc goes through people. So Leicht moves out of the way. He's now lap 23rd. Caleb Hall was down. He's now lap 22nd. Kyle Carpenter here in 21st. Quite the championship run here for Leclerc. It's just going to weave through these piles of lapped riders. Wonder if he laps up even higher in this moto as well. Could be a possibility. So Kyle Carpenter here in 21st. Leclerc is going to swing to the outside. Becomes the inside. I think Carpenter will let him go. Indeed he does. And now only the top 20 is still on the lead lap, and we're not even 20 minutes into this moto. Ridiculous out of Leclerc what he is doing. Now Leclerc goes by Cale Braden. Next up, he's going to try to get Braden Castaneda and Dylan Copeland. Oh, Copeland trying to launch out to flat there. Leclerc peeking up behind these guys, though. He's going to try to lap up to 17th now. Rider down, Billy Kunitz. And I think Leclerc also just, well, he almost lapped Castaneda. And he will. So now Copeland is in 16th. Leclerc goes to the outside of him. Leclerc has lapped P16 before the 20-minute mark of this race. And he's catching Daniel Mills. Insane. Seabolt is in, what is this, 14th? Yeah, 14th. But Seabolt just went down. So Mills is going to close up. And Leclerc might get to Seabolt as Seabolt is getting up. Well, Mills is going to get to Seabolt as Seabolt is getting up. So they commence battle with Leclerc just in their rear view mirror there. Up and down underneath the tunnel. Oh, Seabolt thought he was jumping onto his back there a little bit. So Seabolt trying to go to work here on Daniel Mills for 14th, and he's going to get it back. So Mills concedes that position. And as Leclerc closes up behind them, we are about to hit the 20-minute mark of this moto. 20 minutes down, 10 minutes and 2 laps left to go here at Ironman, and Mills moves out of the way. So Leclerc goes by him. Now everybody outside of the top 15 has been put a lap down. 20 minutes into this moto. Jack Haley in a fight with Devin Davis here. And Devin Davis is trying to get around Chase Blakely. Ooh, Davis. Look at that scrub. But Haley around the outside is going to carry that momentum past Devin Davis and try to do the same at the bottom of the hill here to Chase Blakely. This outside, I just think it's better. I'm surprised there's not more people taking it. So Haley essentially just uses it to his advantage, charges in, gets Davis in one corner, gets Blakely in the next, and continues on his way. Leitzel, looks like Cohenauer has lost that position now to St. Laurent. And the number 86 machine up into 5th, but he's not too far off of Magnetti in 4th. Kohenauer just trying to keep him honest, essentially, and hope for the mistakes to come. Who almost looped out? Aaron Rockefeller. What a save on the 800, though. It's just coming into your living room, doing some 12 o'clock boys. Oh, St. Laurent goes down, and Kohenauer goes by. Leitzel is also going to move around his teammate. Here's Fjellberg in third. Holm, kind of the only one making Leclerc look somewhat sane in second. But the gap is huge, 46 seconds. And Leclerc continues to weave his way forward essentially through what is now the top 15. So who does he just lap now? Seabolt is 13th. Leclerc has put him a lap down. So only 12 riders still on the lead lap. And I mean, we still have 8 minutes and 2 laps left to run here. But if we stick on board with Seabolt here for a minute, let's see how close he can stick with Leclerc. Well, actually now only 11 riders on the lead lap because there was another rider down. So Leclerc has lapped up to 11th. Seabolt is doing some really good laps on this 252 stroke. Unfortunately for him, just not getting the start he wanted to this time around. Try to do a little bit of damage, but maybe doing the best thing he can do right now, which is latch onto Leclerc and try to go with him as they're coming up on, is that Simos, it looks like, perhaps? No, I'm sorry, it's a lapped rider. Seabolt just following Leclerc through here. That is Eklund on the 37 that Leclerc is going to lap. I'm sorry, no, 89. That's Jeff Cooper. And Leclerc goes down. Leclerc just hit the deck. So finally, a little bit of a problem there for Leclerc. And, ooh, Daniel Mills. Got to be careful there with the track reentry. I get that they were both down, but getting up sideways, backwards, coming across the track like that, you kind of hold your breath a little bit there. I don't think Leclerc in the end would protest that. I mean, he's got a huge lead, so what's the point? But that is an illegal move. Logan Leitzel on Seabolt now. Leitzel trying to come to the outside of both corners. Goes outside, outside. Haven't seen that work. Look at this. Triples into the rollers. I haven't seen that one either. So Logan Leitzel looking feisty here, trying some different things up. See, and Kohenauer keeping him at bay, but Leitzel's trying to go to the inside. And it might work. No, Kohenauer fights back again, still to the inside. Leitzel now has control of the inside, but this outside looks a little bit better. And yeah, Kohenauer's going to hold it on and keep that position. And Leitzel now lands off the side of the track. This is a little bit crazy between these two at this point. Never-ending battles all across the track. So Fjellberg, Magnetti's in third. Here's Adam Holm. Adam Holm is just literally by himself in second. 41 seconds to Leclerc. 42 seconds behind him is Magnetti. So, I mean, it just doesn't get much more of a lonely race than that. I mean, all Holm is doing at this point is just putting in laps. And I guess hoping something gnarly happens to Leclerc. I don't really even know what you can help or hope for at this point. Time winding down in this moto. Time winding down on everybody else's championship hopes. Alexis Leclerc is about to put this one to bed a round early. Similarly like he did in this 2020 Race Factor Gaming Grand Prix Championship as well. Clinched the title a round early. Even there, Leclerc decided not to race the MXS GP of Czechia and rode a 250 in the MX2 division instead of the MXGP class, and It was the first and now only time Leclerc has ever ridden in the 250 class in Race Factor Gaming competition, and he won, and then came back up and clinched the championship on a 450 the very next week. So this dude is riddled with confidence right now. Might be on the precipice here. We had another championship, which would be his 4th outdoor title, his 3rd consecutive, matching Jesse Mullins for the consecutive titles, but breaking the record for most outdoor titles in this game's history. And matches Tyson Fresquez as the only riders ever in this game to win 4 professional championships in any series. Fresquez, a 4-time Supercross champion, of course. Whereas Leclerc about to be a 4-time motocross champion. So let's take a look what Leclerc has gotten to at this point. He is about to lap St. Laurent, and St. Laurent is in 10th. Leclerc about to lap up to 10th. Oh, Devin Davis and Jack Haley just got together. They were in a bit of a tussle between each other for 8th, and Haley goes down. Here comes St. Laurent, and there is Haley getting lapped by Leclerc. If the championship wasn't already decided, it is at this point, with Haley going a lap down to Leclerc. Not the way that Haley wanted to lose this championship, I would have to think. Ooh, that's a mistake there for Haley. He's even losing more positions. So St. Laurent going to try to keep with Leclerc, while Leclerc goes after Devin Davis to lap into the top 8. Incredible. Well, Logan Leitzel and Chase Blakely still having a bit of a go with each other. This is a battle for 6th. Neither rider electing to go for the triple there, just taking it easy, then launching out underneath the tunnel there. Leitzel trying to get the power down. Actually got a great drive there. Blakely goes to shut the door. Around the outside, Leitzel tries to turn it into the inside into this corner on Blakely. But the 21 machine keeps him at bay for the time being. And they are slowly, looks like, catching up to Jeremy Cohenauer just ahead of them. Who's the rider down? Oh, that is Casey Oler? No, that is Kyle Robb, actually, on the 23, who was down, but he is obviously a lap down. Yeah, they're catching Cohenauer, no doubt about it. Fjellberg in 4th. Magnetti is in 3rd. Adam Holm all alone in 2nd. And here is Leclerc trying to come up and lap Devin Davis. Oh, we got Kyle Robb at the other end there going down hard again. So 30 minutes have come and gone, and Leclerc this time absolutely checked in before the time expired. And Devin Davis might be closing up a little bit here on Logan Leitzel. Although he's going to have to concede position here. Leclerc going to try to lap him in just a moment. And you think about it, Leclerc's had a couple moments as well. He definitely had one fall-off crash that we saw. Don't know if there was another one in there as well, but hasn't been 100% perfect this whole race, but could have fooled me. 50-second lead, lapping deep inside of the top 10. Pretty good way to clinch a championship, if I do say so myself. Never have clinched a championship in this game that was a big deal enough for people to care about. I've won little championships, I suppose, but yeah, Leclerc about to be a 4-time national champion in Race Factor Gaming competition. At this point, pretty much establishing himself as the GOAT when it came to outdoor racing. And Davis stacks in front of Leclerc and puts him down. So 2-lap board about to come out, and these guys are just tongue dragging in the sprocket a little bit. Leclerc goes by, and 2-lap board waves, or is displayed, I guess would be the proper term, as Kohenauer and Blakely fairly close together. So it looks like we lost, yeah, Leitzel now behind this group. St. Laurent, so Davis up to 7th then? Yeah, Davis is up to 7th. Wow, only the top 6 still on the lead lap, but Davis just gets right back around Leclerc, and then Leclerc almost goes end over on himself. Now Davis slides out and just goes ripping off the track. Now gets back on, and Leclerc trying to go back around him again. Oh, that was sick. Didn't really work. Leclerc was trying to double the braking bumps into that corner. That looked really cool. Blakely on Kohenauer. Dualies on the table in the center. 21 machine trying to look up the inside here on Kohenauer. Just doesn't quite get his nose in there. Ooh, rider down. That is, I think that was Ian Holm, perhaps. Kohenauer a little bit of a case. Blakely carries a lot of good speed off of the triple. Whoo, cross jump. Nearly came to blows between the both of them. Blakely looks inside. That's going to be the move done on Kohenauer. And nicely done in the end as well. So now Blakely moves up to 5th. Far-fetched that he may get up to Fjellberg ahead of him. Gaps are pretty big. Kohenauer not willing to let him go just yet, though. Just trying to keep him close. Ooh, big swap for Kohenauer, and that's not going to help as he kind of blows the corner there. Davis still right in front of Leclerc as the never-ending battle of will he or won't he be lapped continues. At this point, it looks like Davis is just not really going to adhere to the blue flag. I think in his mind, he's just like, I already gave Leclerc one chance. If he wants to pass me, pass me. There he goes. Gives the inside run to Leclerc, but doesn't really give him the spot either. And is that, yeah, that is Blakely just up the road. So Davis eyeing a bit of a carrot that's dangling in front of him, but this time he goes way outside to let Leclerc go to the inside. And that's job done for Leclerc. Davis is like, go get Blakely. I want to try to pass chase Blakely. So Blakely now kind of a bit of a sitting duck here. White flag waving as Holm goes over. And Leclerc trying to run down chase Blakely. Doesn't need it, obviously. Doesn't really matter. But I think for bragging rights, wants to have only the top 5 still on the lead lap, I guess. I don't know. Dominating victory here for Leclerc nonetheless. And it's certainly quite the way to wrap up his 4th ever national championship in this game. Breaking the record for most national championships, his 3rd championship in a row. Incredible stuff. Oh, Leclerc goes down, and Davis will, in fact, get that chance to go after Blakely in the end. So he just was super excited to see Leclerc go down. Was that St. Laurent slowing down to not have to do another lap? Not sure if that was what happened or not. Well, either way, Leclerc getting blocked a little bit by Ian Holm. And now the celebration is on. The wheelies begin. The champagne bottles will be popping in Picardy, France tonight. Your 4-time defending and 3-time on the trot champion, Alexis Leclerc, has won the 2020 Ride365.com National Championship. Adam Holm should end up 2nd. It's still Magnetti in 3rd, Fjellberg 4th. He's trying to close up. Kohenauer is in 5th. Blakely's still right there, and Devin Davis is going to give it one last go. As, well, actually, 8th got through as well, right? Yes, he let St. Laurent go. Well, he didn't really let him. St. Laurent was trying to let him go back by. Oh, Davis almost through the front door. So these guys are all just painstakingly bringing it to the flag. It was Holm who crossed in 2nd officially then. Magnetti looks like he is going to keep Fjellberg at bay. Fjellberg actually goes down. That's not going to cost him enough time, though, to get Kohenauer up there. And Blakely's trying to stay close as well. Oh, Davis down. St. Laurent is way back here, so no worries there. It was Daniel Mills who crossed in 9th. He was the first man a lap down. 10th was Jeremy Siebold. 11th for Logan Leitzel. 12th for Austin Eklund. 13th for Kyle Carpenter. 14th was Reed Young. 15th for Eduardo Simos. 16th for Dylan Copeland. 17th for Braden Castellaneta. 18th was Cale Braden. 19th was Caleb Hall. And 20th was Caden Speck. As, let's see, looks like everything kind of sorted itself out. Kohenauer, strong moto, 4th for the RaceFactorGaming.com president. MB Films number 13. Blakely, he's going to get 5th. Goes for the wheelie backflip at the line. Dennis Fjellberg, man, he ran 3rd for so long. Unfortunately, he's going to end up 6th. I think he'll be a little bit bummed there. Davis, pretty strong 7th in the end. And St. Laurent will wrap it up here in 8th, and there's still one more rider coming behind him. But we're going to get cuts and figure it out. Oh, the rider, whoever it was, just crashed before the finish line jump. All right, boom, cuts. Okay, so it looks like Speck leapfrog Caleb Hall for 19th. Eklund jumped around Leitzel for 11th. That was it. Leclerc wins his 3rd consecutive 450 National Championship, his 4th of his career, and now sets the record for most championships in an outdoor campaign all time in a Race Factor Gaming competition. Electrifying stuff. Congratulations, Alexis Leclerc, your new Race Factor Game, or your continued, I guess I should say, Race Factor Gaming National Champion. Well, that is going to do it for us here tonight, people. Hopefully you guys enjoyed all the coverage here. Want to give a big thanks to RaceFactorGaming.com for continuing to put on these races and all their sponsors that are along the way with us. Ride365.com, RaceTech Suspension, Moto Option Clothing. We also have MXS Lobby. We have Underground RC, MV Films, Tagger Designs. Of course, all of us here at Start Your Systems, thank you guys for tuning in every night. And please, please join us next week as we figure out who is going to win this Titanic 250 championship at the finale next Wednesday. Same time, same place, and we really hope to see you then. But from all of us here at Start Your Systems, we'll see you guys on the next one. So long for now.